Hello, everybody, and welcome to unMadeGaming. We are here for Wednesday. I never remember what the hell day it is. It's like I haven't lived on this planet with the same number of days in the same order for 30 years. It's Wednesday, and that means it's time for City of Mist. 6&Twenty Metropolis. So today is the last day for our giveaway. So guys, jump in there, get in on that giveaway. We will be announcing the winner at the end of this stream. So this is the last 3 hours you have to jump in there and touch tips with all that good stuff. Let's quickly go around and introduce our cast and crew here and then jump into things. We'll start with the craziest person we have today, I guess. We'll go with Greg. Who are you, where can we find you, and who are you playing today?
Oh, my name's Greg, Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitters. Tonight I'll be playing Gephardt Caparelli, who is just a normal woodworker. He spends a lot of time alone with his wood, but he gets a lot of shit done.
With his wood.
With his wood.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how much progress he's made with all of his wood later tonight. Back to you, Mike.
Okay. That's how we're going to start today off. Good stuff. Also a fan of Gephardt's Wood, Mr. Ninja, who are you, where can we find you, and who are you playing today?
I was using the wrong mouse, and I was like, let me just yell at him real quick. I'm Xmas Ginger Ninja. I don't know how to recover from that. That's weird.
I mean, he built you a dog out of wood.
It's uncomfortable. It made for a funny clip, but let's... Yeah.
He built you a dog out of wood. What do you mean?
Let's not talk. Well, I'm happy for the dog, but let's... No more. I'm done. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Who are you playing today?
I'm going to be playing Flora. She's going to be having dinner with a special someone.
That's true.
Her second date this week, apparently.
That's also true, because she has so many boyfriends. Helping me fight dragons today. Sam, who are you? Where can we find you, and who are you playing today?
I'm Sam, Wizenfool on Twitch, the Wizenfool on Twitter. I'm playing JP. I'm here to find some dragons and to maybe find some answers, and to hopefully not get killed by Malcolm on the way, and also not let Malcolm get killed.
It's a double-edged sword, Malcolm.
It's a hard balance. It's a fine line to walk, quite the tightrope.
Yeah.
As we experienced last session, and probably will do so again.
You know who could walk it, though? A ninja.
It's too bad we don't have one.
Too bad we don't have a ninja on the team. So let's jump over to Johnny. Who are you? Where can we find you? And tell us a little bit about Metropolis.
I want to stop and address something real quick before we get started, because I need to clarify this. Does that mean, Greg, that I also have to play with your wood because of the consequences of what you do?
Yes.
I guess you're the shaper of the wood.
Johnny, you can dream. Your dreams are yours. Let your dreams be yours. You know? Just do it.
Yeah, don't let your dreams be memes.
Sprung on all of us when we joined this game is really we're all playing with his wood together.
It's true. Malcolm's a child, and he handles his wood all the time.
I really got to wonder how your wife feels about that. But anyways, I mean...
She's dead.
She's dead.
Well done. Well done.
She doesn't feel great about it.
And I am Johnny. I'm playing everybody else. Everything else in this stupid game. And this 6&Twenty is our little thing into Metropolis, and we do this 3 times a week. So let's just fucking get started, because I have something special in mind for both of you, for both parties this evening, because there's 2 parties.
I'm excited. And not
Are
just
you?
my wood. So before we jump into things, guys, I will remind you of the awesome ways you can interact with the show. Down in the donation section down below, you can see for Nat 1s, Nat 20s, all kinds of fun stuff like that. And along the bottom of your screen, you can see followers, subscribes, and retweets. Like I said, our giveaway is going on right now, so jump in there and do that. And with that, Johnny, take us away to City of Mist.
No, I don't want to.
That's fine.
Don't make me.
All right.
Previously on 6&Twenty Metropolis, Harold Bjorn attacks. After Malcolm imagined himself, JP, and Harold Bjorn in an old detective movie, JP moved to escape and a battle ensued. Harold and JP were trading blows while Malcolm was surfing a hammer. As Harold gained the upper hand, Malcolm called on Gephardt's son for help. The thing known as Pinocchio overwhelmed the unexpecting Harold and won the day. Back at Gephardt's workshop, Flora and Gephardt shared a moment with Sarah, Barry, and Gus. Flora learned that after she texted Gephardt the word fairy, he no longer remembers his family or their death. When Malcolm and JP arrive, Malcolm shares what he learned from Harold while Flora expresses concern to JP about Gephardt. They meet up with Flicker to share their concern, and she charges them to protect Malcolm at all costs. While Flora and JP are gone, Gephardt reveals to Malcolm he has a keen interest in fairies and dragons. He wants to help Malcolm find a dragon while he wants to befriend fairies. He reveals to Malcolm a secret basement inside of his workshop where he has something interesting, an army of his creations waiting for his command. When JP and Flora arrive, JP commits to the quest of the dragons and with Malcolm and Gephardt. Flora, on the other hand, gets a call from her date with Destiny. She arranges to have dinner with Anatoly Vidalis. When she arrives, however, she finds out something quite unexpected. And that's where we fade in tonight, to that dinner table. Sitting at that dinner table is Flora, and across from her is Anatoly Vidalis. What are you wearing, Flora? How do you look? How did you come dressed for this particular circumstance?
She's wearing one of those long sleeve, kind of like a high collar Victorian with a train dresses. She doesn't get to wear things like this. She usually wears them to funerals. So, or every day to work. It depends on the day. But yeah, that and her, some pumps and her necklace.
All right. So as you're kind of sitting down to this, he pulled your chair out for you, kind of stepped back around the table and sat down himself. Him in his, what appears to be his normal attire that you've seen him in previously. A white, sort of off-white suit, kind of a little bit grungy, the vest, tie, dark shirt under, a little bit of sweat glistening on his bald head, but otherwise just very comfortable in his surroundings and his situation. As he offered you a drink, one of the waiters kind of stepped back out of the room, and as another one comes in, you realize something. You realize that these individuals look the same, and in fact, if you look at their outfits, they all appear to be wearing some form of gray attire with a white shirt. This strikes you as a little bit odd. What's going through your head, Flora?
Well, she would somewhat recognize this from her night with JP the first time they met. She's not panicking, but she's kind of trying to piece everything together unsuccessfully in her head.
Do you have a reaction? Is there anything that you want to do, or are you just going to be passive in the situation to kind of figure out what the hell's going on?
She'll probably make a comment. You keep interesting company.
It's hard to find good help these days.
Still, they have very wide range of skills, don't they?
They serve their purpose.
Not all that well sometimes. She smiles.
He kind of looks at you peculiarly, but as he's about to make a comment, one of the waiters comes back and begins to serve you some wine. Now, previously, you haven't accepted a drink from him. This time you agreed, and as the wine is being poured, he kind of sniffs it a little bit, kind of swirls it around, and does the whole wine tasting thing. And when he approves, the waiter then pours you a glass and puts it right in front of you.
Yeah, she doesn't want to be rude. She'll take a sip.
I'm going to face danger roll.
I see we're starting off really tonight, guys. I didn't do it right. Sorry.
That's okay. You can just roll it over, or you can just add whatever you want to.
My bad.
You can just take that roll and add whatever power tags you believe apply here, or you can re-roll. It's entirely up to you.
Gotta find 3 good ones.
So, can't die already dead. So even if it's poisoned, she's not really worried about it.
Okay.
Touch of the underworld, dead of night. We confirm that it's nighttime, right?
Sun was setting, yes.
Okay. So yeah, I would say those 3.
And
I would argue that all alone weakness tag applies.
Okay, that's what I was about to ask. So are you accepting that roll, or are you going to re-roll?
I'll accept that roll.
Okay, so that implies a 9. So you're going to take a status 1. Entranced. And so as you begin to drink, you see his smile.
Oh, this again.
And begins to kind of, his vision, his form, his face begins to fade for just a second. And you're getting some flashes, almost like in a dreamlike state. What are you seeing?
She would see a tall, extremely tall, skinny, sort of sharp, dark features, facial hair, sitting in a chair in a really dark room. And I would see an animal that looks similar to the carvings that Mr. G has given to me. And he is just sitting there, stroking the, going back and forth, stroking the dogs' heads.
Where are you in this vision, or where do you see him in this vision?
It's almost pitch black. You can almost barely make out, facial, like the nose, and if you're looking from the side, all of the features. And the entire room it looks like it's, I wouldn't say cave-like, but dark and not a happy place. Kind of like in a dream. So like, even if I could see the rest of the room, I'm not paying attention to that as I'm having these visions. So there's visions of that. There's visions of, there's in the background, there's screaming. There's other weird, odd things going on. And then there's a few seconds later, a flash to a different scene. And it's, a long table set nicely with a warm fire and blankets. And he's smiling in this. It's going between kind of confusing her with the different, like how it's changing from scene to scene. Seeing different sides of him.
And so as you're having this, time seems to pass a little bit differently for you. And the visions and the dreamlike quality kind of last for a while, or what seems like a while. It feels long. And finally you hear his voice kind of go, are you okay?
Yes, just been a long day.
Your eyes seem to lose focus there. You went someplace else. Where did you go?
Just thoughts I've been having lately. I have interesting dreams. I do work with the dead, after all.
We all do, in one way or another. Everybody's going to die. At least that's what they tell me.
Yeah. It is inevitable. Most people try to shy away from it or pretend it's not imminent, but the idea of it, the finality of it, tends to calm me.
That's an unusual take on it, but I can appreciate it.
But
so, why did you accept my dinner invitation?
I don't go out much, if you couldn't tell. Unless it's taking care of, or I guess looking after some of the other friends I have. Or the dead, those friends. I was very hesitant to come tonight. And not because everyone told me not to.
Really?
Hmm.
Who told you not to?
It seems you're a well-known person in this city. And not just for your business.
But my business is what keeps me going around this city. It's what keeps me visible.
Hmm. What about you? Why ask?
It's rare that I meet a woman who catches my eye. Man like me, my power, I get attention from all kinds, men and women. That doesn't necessarily mean I enjoy their company. But you caught my eye. Almost as if I know you from somewhere.
You know, I get the same feeling. And then I see some of the people you employ, and I think there's probably no way we've ever crossed paths before.
He looks around to his, the servers kind of going back and forth, kind of just doing various things at the restaurant, looking like they're pretending to be busy, but not really being busy. What's wrong with my employees?
Oh, not these. These employees are fine. The ones that take a little bit more of a hands-on approach.
I'm not sure I understand what you mean, but why don't you explain it to me?
It's odd. You see someone and you're always on the lookout for anyone that looks like them. And you go to a nice dinner with someone who seems interesting enough. And you're surrounded by that face.
When you look around again, you only see one of them. It's like there's something about your vision that's being clouded a little bit. And you
Does she know?
One at a time.
Okay.
And he watches you watch them. And he says, it's very hard to find good help. So when I do employ someone, I make sure that they are fully available for me.
Fair enough. So what do you do besides run business?
Nothing else. Business is my life. It's, like I said, rare that I find something that catches my eye outside of life, of business. And so you caught my eye.
I'll admit, I knew something was off when I asked you about the sisters the other night.
Do you care to elaborate?
Some people are good conversationalists. Not myself, obviously. Some people are charismatic. Some people are astute. They pick things up. I have a feeling you weren't being honest with me about the sisters.
Maybe I was being as honest as I could be?
Could or wanted to?
Aren't those the same thing?
No.
He sits back and he says, I will answer any of your questions that I can.
Do you know anything about the disappearance of the sisters?
In my city, I know lots of things about the disappearance of the sisters. I don't know how much of them are true. Do you have a specific question or query that you would like answered?
Do you know about the girls leaving the city of their own volition?
He kind of pauses and kind of sits back, reaches for the wine glass, kind of swirls it a little bit, takes a sip, and he says, "That's one rumor I've heard. That's not a very specific question, though. It's a rumor. Ask me a very specific question."
How do you think that I know you? She just completely changes the subject.
He doesn't know how to answer at first because he's taken aback by the change of conversation. And he leans in and he says, "I have this image in my head of you and I dancing. It's a waltz. Someplace dark and distant. And it's clear that he's only revealing half of what he actually is thinking or wants to say, but he's only sharing a little bit of what he's thinking. That's all I know, is that you seem familiar, that you would be familiar in my embrace."
Well, I can't place you. I know the type of business you do. A general idea. It's pretty, I would say obvious, but not to everyone.
Do tell. I have told you that I will answer any question specifically that you ask me. I'm not here to be dishonest. I am not here to withhold unless it's important to my business.
I'm looking to find these sisters. I know that their businesses, the business that they deal with puts them in danger, and I know that sometimes
Don't
you
they
have to
run a food and beverage company?
Yes.
How does that make them targets? How does that make them dangerous?
Not dangerous, in danger.
Are you sure they're not dangerous?
I've only met one of them once. And she was taken shortly after. So I wouldn't know if they're dangerous or not. But I know that whoever took them or scared them out of the city are.
Well, that's really interesting. Do tell. Tell me your tale of this sister. And with that, we're going to cut over to JP, Malcolm, and Gephardt.
I thought Gephardt was at the restaurant.
He is 30 minutes later, though, because she told him 8:30.
Actually, it was an hour later, if I remember correctly. It was an hour
so
later.
We're all at Gephardt's place then?
Yes. I would assume so, because you were all going to go dragon hunting.
Yes. So I have a question that I'm curious about. Is there any news or report about the fact that we destroyed 4 floors of a building this morning?
Like at the 8 o'clock news.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or more specifically, that Harold Bjorn destroyed because he wasn't supposed to be there in the middle of the epicenter of this destruction.
There was a accident of some kind where a antenna on top of a building crashed through.
Get hit by lightning in that storm. Fell over.
No reports of anything else, other than there being, some devastation at the top of the building and that the repairs are going to cost in the millions of dollars.
Were there any injuries?
No.
So JP is watching this newscast, and he's gonna look to Gephardt and he's gonna be like, Man, we got pretty lucky. I mean, someone could have died.
Sure could have.
Is it? I hate to say this. I mean, it's been a long time since I've, really fought someone like that, and
You'll find the right girl someday. Oh, something else. Go ahead.
Gephardt, is it bad that fighting Bjorn was the most fun, the best I've felt in a long time?
No. It means that you're coming to grips with who you are. That person inside of you.
I came to the city because I thought I wanted to step away from competition. I didn't want to fight anyone anymore, but I'm starting to think I don't know. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I was just looking for a different kind of fight.
Perhaps. You have to find where you feel the most comfortable. And if that is in your dojo teaching your students, or jumping over rooftops fighting a god.
What if someone had died? I can't keep. We can't.
What
we
if they
can't
had? Would it have been your fault?
Yes, of course.
They were in the way. Would you have let this Bjorn kill Malcolm? What if he had died? You did
No.
what you thought was right, and you did the right thing.
I think JP just kind of nods, and he'll leave it at that and just keep watching the news unless Gephardt will say anything else.
Gephardt will just walk away.
Where's Malcolm in all this?
What? He's around.
Malcolm, I thought you wanted to go hunt dragons.
I was, but there was a boring conversation, and they started talking about adult stuff, and they were about fighting, and then it wasn't about dragons, and I didn't really care anymore. And then Mr. G has a lot of toys around his house, and he made a dog. And I don't really want a dog because they're really going to take care of him, and I don't want to do that stuff. But there's lots of other toys, and like there's one bird thing, and he made like a wooden dragon thing, and sometimes there's like a rhinoceros, and there's like I make them fight the elephants. Anyway, what are you talking about?
Something about a dragon?
So I found this paper that lets me fight a dragon. Find a dragon. Sorry.
I thought we decided we weren't gonna fight the dragon, Malcolm. We were gonna try to
Right.
make it our friend.
Yes, but if it's a bad guy, then I'll fight it.
Right.
Yes.
We should look for it.
Yes. I have this paper here. And he holds up a map. And it is like a pirate map that leads to a dragon. And the end is a dragon with an X next to it.
Fantastic.
Okay, so now I have obviously read pirate maps before for obvious reasons, but I've never read a dragon map before. So I need someone else to help me read this dragon map. Where do we
I'm
start?
ready.
Okay, where do we start? You read the dragon book, and JP also read the dragon book, and this one is specifically to a green dragon, I think, because the color of the dragon on the picture is green.
For a moment, Gephardt stares off into like the middle distance, and for anybody that's watching, they can again see that silhouette in his left eye of a figure that seems to be pacing back and forth. And if they look very closely, they can see the figure kind of lean over and whisper into the corner of Malcolm's, or the corner of Gephardt's eye, and Gephardt says, "We should look on Cherry Lane."
What's there?
a good place to start.
Oh, okay. I don't know where that is. You lead.
JP, you have that phone. Is there a Cherry Lane here in the city?
Sage Maps.
Okay. So
Is there a Cherry Lane?
there is a Cherry Lane, and it's in the Old Quarter. And it's actually quite on the far side of the Old Quarter, very near the waterfront. And it's a very, very, very small, like, street. It only encompasses going from the waterfront and travels next to a park. That park's name? Anatoly.
Yeah, here it is. Right next to Anatoly Park. Sounds
Perfect.
pretty nice.
It does sound
You
nice.
been there?
Maybe he is a good dragon.
Have you been to the park?
Not that one. There's another park where I live. The big park. That's the park where I think that Calvin lives. He really likes it there.
Your friend Calvin lives in the park?
Yeah, I think so. Well, he doesn't have a car in that building. He said it wasn't his building anymore. And then when he asked where he lived, wouldn't tell us where he lived. But he seemed really happy in the park. And sometimes he takes his shoes off and he walks around and he's like, "Oh, I really love the park and nature." And that's how he sounds when he talks. Anyway, so Cherry Lane.
Let's go.
Okay. How do we just walk in? Okay.
I mean,
We could jump there.
I can't jump that high.
Well, he can. He points to JP. He's a jumper.
I did see him jump out of a window. Did I tell you he jumped out of a window? He jumped right out of a window.
Told me twice.
well, I did technically jump out two windows, so
I know. I was
Oh,
there.
yes, that's not shortchange JP. He jumped out of 2 windows.
I was there both times.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I can. We can jump there. I mean,
Okay, well then. And
comfortable are you being carried?
he pulls out his sword and he points to the wall. And he's, "This way!"
All right.
It's not going to open itself.
Gephardt unzips it, and he summons Pinocchio over, who is still bearing the zigzag lightning bolt mark along his back, but is capable of at least transportation at this point.
Yes.
Okay. And does that mean you all are heading off to the Old Quarter?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mr. G,
So we're gonna-
is it bad that I hope he's a bad dragon so I can fight him? Is it bad?
You can always wish.
Okay, good. Fight a dragon.
And so while you all are journeying to the Old Quarter, we're going to cut back to Flora. You have just regaled him with a tale of what happened at behind Xanadu on that first night. How much of it do you actually reveal in respect to the magnificent part, the legendary, wonderful mythos elements of it, or do you just tell it factually as a fight?
I tell it as
He and his naked clones.
I don't say anything about JP other than there was a man there that helped me. I don't say anything about Flicker and the cameras or anything like that. I only tell him about the fight and a large man like helping me to try to defend this woman, and then she vanished, and she was never wasn't seen again after that.
Do you tell him about the gray-suited men?
Mm-hmm. But I don't phrase it like that. She would say, yeah, the reason one of your men looked so familiar looked a lot like those men I had some trouble with, who were trying to persuade a woman to get in the car, the woman Megan, to get in the car.
Really? Clarence. And he motions one of the waiters to come over. Clarence, come here. Stand in the light. Talk to this young woman here. is this? And the Clarence steps up, and he's got, he's dressed in gray slacks. He's got a white shirt on and a gray vest on, no tie. But you can see that, he's otherwise, just very sharply dressed. Same features that you recognized before. And he kind of leans in and he says, "How can I help you, ma'am?"
Oh, you can't.
Oh, I can't?
I appreciate it, though.
Are
I'll
you
have
sure?
A bottle of your best whiskey, sealed, preferably.
Okay.
She'll look
And
to him. Is that okay with you? Not really in the mood for wine.
Are you saying this? Who are you saying this to? To Vidalis?
Yes.
Okay.
It's his restaurant, so she doesn't want
Right.
to just be like, "I'll have your top shelf whiskey."
Vidalis is just like, kind of waves Clarence away, and he's like, "Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. I'm going to stay with the wine." And as he's walking away, under the white shirt, you see that there's a little bit of a dark spot on his right arm, or his left arm,
Where
like right here, as he walks away.
The same arm?
The same arm.
Mhm.
Yes. You're not quite sure though, but it's dark enough that it's definitely showing through the white shirt. He says, "Whiskey. Never acquired a taste for it. It tastes too rough. Wine is sweet, and I like sweet wine. I like sweet things."
I think that's where we differ.
Shrugs.
We could try this way. You can ask me something, and then I'll ask you something. Maybe we can get to know each other better, so it's not all business.
Sadly, everything is business to me. Even this dinner. It's a slight distraction, but it's still business.
So what can I do for you?
Well, and he kind of shrugs. You can tell me why you're interested in Harold Bjorn.
I believe he has something to do with the disappearance.
That really doesn't surprise me at all.
Hmm.
I've dealt with Harold in the past. I felt that he was a little brash and bold and overstepping his bounds. Doesn't surprise me if he's taking out the competition.
So what about the skulls? Have you worked with them?
Oh, I've done business with Samuel in the past.
Hmm.
What do you think my business is, actually? I mean, I'm quite the businessman. I'm known all over. What do you think my business is, though?
I don't think I could name something that your business doesn't involve.
That's probably very true. But if I was to ask you what you thought I did, what do you think?
I'm sorry.
And this is when Greg needs to stop with his private chat because he's killing the scene, buddy. We love you, but you're killing the scene.
I think that you see things in the city and you take them.
You think I'm an acquirer of goods?
I wouldn't say goods. I would say an acquirer.
Well, you're half right.
Hmm.
I deal in something a little bit more valuable. Anybody
that
can
be?
have something. Do you want a man or a woman? Do you want a car? Do you want something more valuable? Sure. But anyone can grab those things. They can take those things. What I deal with is information. Which is why I said it's okay for you to ask me anything specific, because I will offer you what you need, as long as you reciprocate and tell me what I'm asking for.
So, in order to have people be more compliant, or maybe it's just most dates, do you always put something in their drink?
I didn't put anything in that drink that wasn't already there when it was made. Now, to say that the vintage is intoxicating, my dear, that was an incredibly old vintage.
Mm-hmm.
And in the past, sometimes they put things in that were not necessarily from the vine. Stop it, Greg.
I think that's why I prefer to stick to whiskey.
Well, depending upon the distillery, even they were notoriously bad for including things. So be careful what you ask for.
She reaches across the table and leans in a little bit. There's not many things in this city that I'm sure you can't acquire quite easily.
But I don't want things.
You want information.
Yes.
Such as?
You're interested in Harold Bjorn, for one. The truth behind the circumstances at the prison a couple of days ago. That's something else.
I understand someone committed suicide.
Is that your final answer?
That's what I was told. Is this something you want me to look into?
I think there's something more that you know, and you're just not telling me. And I respect loyalty. It's important. I hope one day to earn your loyalty.
You could start by giving me whiskey. Straight. No additives. No clauses.
And he snaps his fingers, Clarence, and the bottle comes, and it's sealed. Also, can you bring back another small container, a glass container, please? And when he does, he pours a little bit of the wine into it, seals it, and hands it over to you. Don't trust me? You clearly have access to resources that can help you identify what's in there. Let me earn your trust. I did not put anything in there that you did not already experience. It's from the bottle. Please. I want your trust.
She takes her hand and pushes it back towards him. That's usually something you would do before you serve it. Did you have another question? I believe you answered mine about the skulls.
Oh, I asked you two questions that I'm very, very curious about. You clearly have deferred, and like I said, I'd like to earn your trust. So let us start with the next entree, or let us start with the first entree, and maybe I can convince you by the end of this dinner that I have no desire to cause problems for Mr. Caparelli. And we're going to cut. So, when you enter the old quarter, it's after dark. Who's writing on what, or how are they getting there? Because I believe Gephardt is writing Pinocchio right now. Is that correct?
Yep.
Where's Malcolm and JP? Is JP getting a piggyback ride from Malcolm? I mean, sorry, vice versa.
It would be up to Malcolm. If Malcolm wanted to fly, he would fly. But if he asked JP to help him, he would help.
No, he would either take a ride on Pinocchio or on JP.
phrasing. But
You said it first.
But so who's offering him the ride? That's the question here. That's important to entering the scene.
Oh, we'll say JP.
Okay. So JP, you're kind of jumping, across the city as you're kind of keeping pace with Gephardt on the back of Pinocchio. As both of you enter into the old quarter, it feels a little bit colder here. It feels a little bit darker as you come into one of the oldest parts of the city. And as you progress farther and farther towards the waterfront, there's an unusual chill in the air. Gephardt, at street level, one of the things you're beginning to notice is that even though it's summertime, the trees, they look almost as if they're changing color. Some of the leaves on them are turning a little brown, almost as if there is an autumn feel to the air. And as you get closer and closer to the park, closer and closer to Cherry Lane, closer and closer to Anatoly, you see that there is this mist as well that is sort of rising from different parts and sort of enrapturing, kind of wrapping around you and just kind of, encompassing you and bringing you in as it gets thicker and thicker. And JP, for the first time, you're starting to lose sight of Gephardt a little bit. So you're having to jump shorter and shorter distances to keep him more in sight. And so by the time that the three of you arrive at Cherry Lane, the fog is immense and it is cold and it is very, very thick. And you can see shapes in the distance, and you can see the street lights, almost phasing in and out of this fog. And you're standing on Cherry Lane looking into the park, and it's quite a little quaint place. Because when you get there, it leads into sort of a small, sort of a grassy area right around it. And what you find at the center of that is really interesting is that there is a little bit of a pond that kind of looks probably a quarter of a mile in diameter, give or take, the shape of it a little bit. And at the center of it is a little island, but you can't see a way to get across. But something compels you. I think Malcolm probably looks at the map. And when he looks at the map, he realizes that the map has slightly changed a little bit. And it is a vision of the park. And the X lies on the island.
It's a magical map!
Well, this place isn't too bad, but with this weird weather, makes sense. Not a lot of people come here. Should we jump over to the island?
Do you think there's a lot of dragon fighters? Are we gonna have competition? Is dragon fighting, dragon befriending? Shoot, dragon friendly competition, dragon befriending. Can we?
Well, we'll have to jump over to the island to find out.
Okay, let's go. Oh, Mr. G, can Pinocchio go in the water?
He can.
Okay, that's good. I wasn't sure because,
It floats.
Oh, okay. I didn't want him to get soggy. Let's go.
Gephardt turns to Malcolm and JP, and he says, "I've heard a story of this particular dragon. He hates pirates."
I also don't like pirates.
That is why we are going to find him and see if he will join our side.
And help me fight pirates. I'll have a dragon friend that fights pirates. Oh, man. I'm going to go back and fight Mr. Bjorn myself. It's going to be awesome.
Nope.
Yes.
First we'll make friends with the dragons, and then
I fight Mr. Bjorn.
Well, let's come back around to that one and maybe revisit it later.
Yeah, because I need to find the dragon first. Okay, let's go.
I'm excited.
Before you guys get a chance to go, Gephardt reaches into one of the pockets of his jacket and he pulls out 2 lengths of string and 2 small tins of sealing wax. And he hands them to both Malcolm and JP. You'll need this.
To
and
tie up
some...
the dragon.
No, just these 2 and some fancy things. And he pulls out a child's toy, like a tiara, and he gives it to JP, and he pulls out a little small table-sized serving of Grey Poupon and hands it to Malcolm.
I don't understand.
JP's very confused.
I don't know how mustard is going to help me.
The rumor is he likes strings, sealing wax, and fancy things. So, best to come with what he likes.
But this is just mustard.
It's fancy.
Oh, okay. I guess so.
Am I supposed to wear this, or?
Just have it.
All right.
You can also wear it, though. That's funny because it's a girl hat.
Why don't you wear it, Malcolm?
No, because I'm a boy.
JP, live your truth. If you feel like you should wear it, then wear it.
Mr. G, remember that time we saw JP and JP was a girl? I remember that time.
I'm... So... you be you, JP. I'll be me. Malcolm will be Malcolm. We're all friends. Let's find a dragon.
Yeah, I'm a little uncomfortable right now, but yeah, let's go. JP's just gonna jump onto the island.
So you jump, but you don't make it. There's almost something like you jump forward, but as you're approaching the water's edge, because you're on the street right now, you land at the water at the shore. With JP or with Malcolm on your back, you just you land there and you're a little taken aback. It's not like you weren't forced out of the air. It's almost like you felt like you miscalculated the jump. Gephardt, how are you approaching this?
Is there a boat nearby?
Not that you can see yet.
Is there any wood nearby?
There is a small grove of trees close to you, off to the side, and there is another grove of trees on the island that you can see.
Are there any dead trees, like any fallen dead?
No.
Is there a park bench?
There is a park bench on the island.
On the island? Okay, I direct Pinocchio to get into the water to see if he indeed floats, which he should. He's made of wood. Have him kind of do the dead puppet float on his back. And he jumps on Pinocchio's chest to see if it'll hold him.
Well, so as Pinocchio approaches the water, as you step close, the fog kind of plays across. It starts to float across the water. And as Pinocchio begins to get in, he gets consumed by the fog as it just kind of overwhelms the entire area right around you. But it passes very quickly as if there's a cool autumn breeze. And as you're kind of looking around, you see that the night is not black. There are not stars, but it is incredibly gray as the fog kind of clears a little bit. And sitting in front of you is a boat with a sail. Looks just big enough for the three of you plus Pinocchio.
While this is happening, JP looks like a little bit like frustrated, and he'll turn and go to hop into the boat, and he just like looks at Gephardt and Malcolm, and he's just like, man, I don't know why, but there's just nothing that pisses me off more than thinking I can jump really far and realizing that I didn't go very far at all. I don't know what it is.
Maybe because you're bad at jumping.
I'm very good at jumping, Malcolm. You should know. You wouldn't even be here without me jumping.
I'm sorry. I'm just excited to fight a dragon, to befriend a dragon.
It's okay. I forgive you.
Thanks. Okay. So, where are we going? And the map hasn't changed, so we gotta go.
Malcolm,
Yes,
you're the best sailor among us, aren't you?
I am. That's true.
You've told me many times how you have been able to pilot craft much larger than this.
Yes, a whole boat.
Lead on, Captain.
Done. Okay, did I ever tell you guys my dad was a captain? He was in a boat once, and then he like jumps in the boat and he immediately like grabs this like I assume it's like a one fucking sail rigging, but he grabs it and he immediately starts swinging the rigging to try to get it adjusted properly. He says, "Okay, now listen. When you get in, the last person in, you have to cast off, and you have to say." Point over that way. The other one, not the one that casts off. The other one has to point across underneath the sail, and you have to say, land ho! And that's how I know that there's land. Okay?
Got it.
Okay.
I'll go man the topsail.
No, I'm doing that.
Okay.
There's only one sail, JP. It's this one.
All right, Captain Malcolm.
Thank you. Good. You get in. Okay, so you are the one that yells, and Mr. G, you push us off and jump in.
I will.
Okay.
Gephardt turns to Pinocchio and says, "Son, wait for us here, over in the shadows. Stay quiet." And Gephardt helps push the craft into the water and then jumps in.
JP.
Yeah, yeah.
You say it.
Land ho.
Good job. And he starts
Nailed it.
maneuvering towards the island.
So as the boat begins to move forward, the fog comes in again. And it just kind of plays across the water. And it's even colder this time. And as it's this cold sort of wind kind of playing through, you begin to have this uneasy sense that you're not alone as you hear a gigantic roar off in the distance. And there are flashes of yellow and red and blue and green. And you feel the wind of something as it sweeps over. And there is a slight little melody playing off in the distance. And you hear explosions, cannon fire, and trumpets. And off towards the east, so as you're looking into the fog, as you're watching these explosions, you hear that cannon fire. You see the vague outline of a giant ship in the distance. And just for a second, Malcolm, Gephardt, you hear the twinkling of a bell. And there is a huge desire for you, Malcolm, to follow that bell. But forward, you can feel the whooshing of the wind as if something is landing, and you hear the flapping, and you hear a gigantic roar in front of you. And you think, wow, that's a dragon in front of me. But that twinkling of the bell is really calling to you. And you hear the call of pirates from that direction in the distance.
Does Gephardt know?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, what was that, Gephardt?
You said that Gephardt saw it as well.
Gephardt saw everybody, all of you saw the shape. You hear the call of the pirates. You hear the call in the distance towards the east. But it's only Gephardt and Malcolm who hear the twinkling of the bell. And
Gephardt's going to grab Malcolm and force him to look at him. And he snaps his fingers in front of his face. Malcolm. Dragons.
Yeah, but the dragons are on the island, and the island's gonna stay here, but the boat could move. Did you hear the boat?
Dragons. This dragon hates pirates.
I know, but maybe if we start fighting the pirates, the dragon will just come out because he hates pirates too. We can make a lot of noise about fighting pirates, and then he'll just be drawn out there. like bait.
We'll give him gifts. We have to prepare.
But what if we fight the dragon? Wait, no, I'm sorry. What if we fight the pirates and the dragon comes out and he helps us and then he goes to turn on us and he's going to fight us, but instead of fighting him, we give him your gifts. Or I fight him. Or both.
I only heard the dragon roar, right? I didn't hear the pirate noises.
You heard everything that I described.
Except the bell.
Except the bell. And Malcolm, when you hear the bell again, when Gephardt hears the bell, it's a twinkling and it sort of sounds beautiful off in the distance. But for Malcolm, something extra comes up. For Malcolm, he gets an image of a fairy in his mind.
Man. Yeah, I'm doing something.
So am I.
What move is it to jerk the sail towards the pirates?
There's no move. It's a choice.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be contested by Mr. G.
Is it going to be contested first off?
Yes.
Okay. Guys, I'm really thinking that there's no easy way to contest this, because for Gephardt, I think it's make a hard choice. For Malcolm, it could be one of a couple of things. Because here's why I think it's make a hard choice for Gephardt. During the last episode, during Gephardt's evil man monologue, evil villain, monologuing thing that he was doing, he talked about fairies. And he knows generally what that twinkling sound means.
He knows what that twinkling sound means.
He knows what the twinkling sound means because he's heard it before. He knows that it's vaguely related to fairies. He's not jumping to that conclusion. For Malcolm, he is, because he knows it's a fairy. Like, it's coming in his mind. So I don't think it's a hard choice for Malcolm, because it's not ignoring his mythos. It's more like, for him, it's really just kind of, he's following something that sounds interesting to him. He's making a choice he's making a Malcolm choice, right? Oh, there's dragons over here, but there's something over here. Let's go fight these pirates over here, kind of a thing. So I don't even know if it's a move so much as it is for Gephardt. It's there's some part of fate, or there's some opportunity of conflict there. Mike, do you think there's something that Malcolm really
here's what I would think, right? Because knowing what the mission is, or what the game is, and knowing that it's going to be contested here, I think that Greg and I should roll off and do, like, take the risk, something along those lines. Because take the risk is just a success or failure, right?
Yes, but for Gephardt, I think there's a little bit more. There's a little bit of ignoring his mythos here.
But I don't think make a hard choice is something you roll on. I
Yeah.
think you just mark the fade or crack. So I think it almost feels like choosing to make the roll is like both of the moves happening at the same time, maybe?
That could be
Okay, so then maybe it's take a risk for just Malcolm, and for Gephardt, he can choose to make that choice at that point.
Sure.
I mean, it's entirely up to you guys how you want to roll this. I'm just making suggestions in respect to the way that I'm seeing it, right? So, up to you guys. Whatever you want to do, ultimately.
Yeah, because I can play it that it's what do you call it? Mystery. Finally, some answers. My new identity. I'm sorry, my new mystery is what makes someone a pirate, and to make this roll, I am invoking one of my weakness tags.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna roll to yank the sail towards the pirate ship.
Okay.
I think the most applicable one would be take a risk.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give myself a weakness tag. Can't tell adults from pirates. As Malcolm aggressively shoves Mr. G towards the back of the boat, to force him off of him to grab the sail and yank it towards the pirates.
Well, if you're gonna do that, then I think he should face danger, or he should be going toe to toe with you. If you're taking a risk, then I think.
Well, no,
Yeah, I'm not injuring him though. I'm just trying to get him
No,
away
but
from me.
it's a battle of wills in some way, right?
Sure.
Mike,
What were you
you
going to say,
just wanna
Greg?
I was going to say, do you want to do a straight roll off with take a risk? Each of us trying to get control of the boat.
Yeah, we can do that.
I think that's a nice, simple way to do it.
Yeah, so just do a straight no tags, take a risk.
Yeah.
Well,
with dice.
hold on a second. Here's the only reason, and I agree with you guys. I'm going to let you guys ultimately make the decision. But here's why I would say that it's possibly something else for each of you, because with take a risk, it's an easy resolution for one of you. However, for the other one, it's not so easy, especially if you fail. Like there are much stronger mechanics in the game to resolve the issues for Gephardt when it's not take a risk. If it is take a risk with Gephardt, then should he fail or should he even get a 7 to 9, it's going to get really interesting. It's going to get complicated for him because of the choices that I'm going to have to offer him. So I'm just giving you guys some insight into that. So it's ultimately your choice.
I still think you guys should use power tags because that'll inform like what this Scrabble looks like.
I agree because it'll help the narrative.
Okay. Then let's do a toe-to-toe with no damage, I guess, right? Really, it's just to see who can wrest control of the boat. So do toe-to-toe with tags.
Okay.
So I'm going to use Can't Tell Adults from Pirates. I'm going to roll We Kill Pirates. Man.
And don't forget, you got crits if you guys want to use this.
Yeah, I'm not going to use my crit for this. I feel like this is not the moment for it. I'm going to use... So yeah, I think I'm just going to go straight Fly Fight Crow. I'm going to use Can't Tell Adults from Pirates, We Kill Pirates, Bangarang, and Crow Call as he shoves Mr. G. Well, that's what he's trying to do, is aggressively plant an arm into Mr. G and knock him towards the back of the boat, grab the mainsail, and twist it towards these things while making the... yanking the sail towards it.
Okay. In answer to that, I am going to invoke my weakness. Doesn't work on children. I'm also going to use blackmail falsehoods because I can differentiate what is the truth of this matter. I'm also going to do create from wood everywhere, and bring creations to life as he plants his hand on the boat and brings the boat to life.
Okay. I like this. Let's see what happens. Go toe-to-toe.
So instead of avoiding it, you're just gonna have the boat catch you. That's amazing.
He's gonna move the boat by making it come to life. All right, cool. Fuck me running. God damn it. I want to go fight pirates.
Let me see. What did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4. -1 is 3.
That should be 1 higher. I don't know why that's doing that.
What are we doing? Going toe to toe?
Yeah. So that's a 7, but he still beats me. So yeah, Greg dictates the scene.
He just puts his hand down in the middle of the boat where he is, and the rudder locks into position, aiming towards the island. We need the dragon, Malcolm.
JP's gonna just be like, "Whoa, Malcolm, what are you doing? Gephardt, are you okay?"
I'm fine.
This isn't fair. You get to do everything. You get to tell me what to do all the time. I just want to go fight dragons this one time. Fight pirates. I'll fight them both. This sucks. And he throws the sail, letting the jib spin, and sits down in the middle of the boat.
Okay. So I have a question for both of you, because technically you both succeeded. Greg, you're going to get to go first. Actually, Malcolm, you're going to get to go first, and then Greg is going to be able to react. Gephardt is going to be able to react. Ultimately, Gephardt's going to win, but because you both went toe-to-toe, I'm going to allow both of you to spend as if you succeeded in this particular case. So, Malcolm, what did you do with your one item from that?
My one item...
From that list.
Yeah, my one item would have been to knock Mr. Gion's ass.
Okay. So he does go down, but as he goes down, he lands, and his hands are firmly planted on the boat. Gephardt, now take your 2 actions from that. One of them sounds like you're going to reach your goal, which means you're going to take control of the boat and have it continue to follow your instincts or your interests, which is to go to the island. Right? So that means you're achieving your goal. What's the other one?
I would like to inflict a status.
Ooh. Okay. And what's
Trust.
the status? Okay.
Easy, Shirka.
So that's a trust. That's a trust status 4, Malcolm.
Yeah. Yep, so he pouts like a kid and sits down in the middle of the boat.
JP?
I feel like I'm imagining this being like the moment where a parent starts like counting to 3 with a little kid, where it's like nothing's gonna happen at 3, but they just lose their minds.
Yeah. And you're in that awkward adult pose where you're just like, this is uncomfortable for everyone.
Yeah. JP is just like looking back and forth and is like, Malcolm, you can't hit your friends like that.
Well, I can't when they're being a jerk.
No.
Yes. I do it all the time.
Malcolm, if you want people to stick around, if you want your friends to stay around, you can't treat them like that.
Well, if they don't do what I want, then maybe I don't.
Gephardt looks over
mean
his
that.
shoulder. Malcolm, haven't I always told you I want to fight pirates as well?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want a battle or do you want a war?
The drug it could be gone by then.
They'll never be gone. The dragon is here. The pirates keep coming back. A great war is coming, Malcolm. We must be ready to fight it.
Fine.
JP is starting to get really nervous about this, and he's like, you're gonna like look to Gephardt and quietly be like, "Are you sure this is the best tactic? Usually you're pretty good with Malcolm, but really a war?
It's coming, JP. We all must be ready. The 3 of us.
Flicker's words echo in JP's mind.
Yeah.
Protect Malcolm at all costs.
Yeah, I think JP just kind of leaves it at that, but we see like a subtle shift in his like the way he's holding himself, his body positioning, and we see him like slightly move so that he's like a little bit more between Malcolm and Gephardt.
And I don't think that this is, that Gephardt is oblivious to this. This is something that Gephardt would definitely notice. As the explosions continue to happen, the struggle, the boat kind of spins for just a little bit of a second, but rights itself as it continues to head in the direction as Gephardt imagines where the island is. And you hear the roar again. But this time, as you get closer and closer to the roar, it sounds almost sad. It's pitiful. But the fog begins to recede from the water as the boat gently touches and kind of sort of seats itself on the island.
At this point, Gephardt would turn to both JP and Malcolm, and he will say, "This dragon, he doesn't have a lifelong friend. He needs one to be brave."
Well, maybe you should be his friend.
I can't. It must be one of you.
Fine.
Malcolm, can you imagine what the pirates will think when you charge them in their ship riding a dragon?
It's probably the coolest thing they've ever seen. Oh, poop. Like, oh no, Malcolm's the best. He's riding the dragon. How can we ever stand up against him?
The whole city will think that.
Okay.
You
Would've
too,
been-
JP.
Would have been cool if I just fought him anyway. Just saying,
Cooler this way.
I guess.
Let's find him.
Okay.
Gephardt jumps out of the boat.
JP, I could have taken them without the dragon.
Yeah, well, I believe you, and hopefully it doesn't come to that. But yep. Just jump out of the boat as well.
Thanks, man. And he hops out last.
As they're leaving, Gephardt turns around and grabs the front of the boat, and beneath it, tendrils streak out of the boat like roots and grab into the loose soil, sinking down 15, 20 feet, anchoring the boat into the shoreline. And he lets it go.
As the three of you begin to step away from the shore, moving towards the small island grove, there's a bench in front of you. The fog begins to come in again and just kind of move forward, kind of wrapping around the both of you. All three of you, sorry. As it just kind of moves forward and it just flows through towards the grove as the bench and the grove of trees get consumed. And for a second, everything seems gray and dark. And as it passes over and through you, Gephardt, you're kind of looking around. And as you look back towards the shore, as the thing clears, the boat is gone. Your tendrils are still there, reaching out, but the boat is gone. And as Malcolm and JP are looking forward, the fog just sort of begins to dissipate around the bench. You see an old man sitting on the bench, really sad, mumbling to himself. He's dressed in a green suit. And we're going to cut back to Flora. How's it going, Flora? How's the conversation going?
She's avoiding answering questions. She's just pounding drinks. I'm assuming it's gotten kind of quiet between them, as she's just drinking heavily and not really eating.
Well, so the dinner portion has really come, sort of the entree. What is in front of you?
I imagine it's expensive steak and vegetables, and it's like a typical fine steak, dinner. Steak and wine pair well.
But you're not drinking wine. You're drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
So what pairs well with whiskey?
More whiskey.
No.
More whiskey.
Okay.
Yeah. And ice cubes.
So actually, what's in front of Vidalis is some sort of fish entree dish, perfectly paired with his wine. And he's enjoying it. Not only do you not answer my question, you don't enjoy my meal. I have one of the best reviewed restaurants in all of the city.
You own a lot of things in the city. Am I supposed to be impressed?
When I ask a woman for a meal, I at least hope that I'm providing her with something that she is enjoying. If you're not enjoying it, I will be happy to send it away and have something else. I will even order out from another restaurant.
I would never be so rude. And she'll look at him, take another swig, and then put it on the table and pick at it, push it around her plate and pick at it a little bit.
If you're not enjoying yourself, please be honest, and we'll end this. I don't want to keep someone here if they don't want to be. It's not what I like.
There's something about this that seems familiar. I'm more confused than not having a good time.
Again, ask me any question and I will answer. I've already told you how I think we know each other, and yet I know that cannot be true. I've answered your questions about these sisters, and yet you avoid mine. About your keen interest in Harold Bjorn, and about the circumstances of your good friend Gephardt Caparelli.
If you're asking me, then I think you know more than you're letting on.
I only know that you have been seen in his presence. I only know that his death is not what it seems in the prison. As I said, I wanted to earn your trust.
What do you want with this knowledge?
I wish to sell it if you think that's what this is about. I make business decisions based on the best available information. If Gephardt Caparelli is alive, there is a reason for it, and I'd like to understand. If he wants to fake his death in prison, I definitely want to understand. In fact, if it's the right thing to do, I would like to offer him my protection.
I will tell you that prior to knowing him, I believed his innocence based on cases I've worked. I've tried asking around for help, and that only got me into more trouble. And I guess noticed more than usual.
You're talking about Detective Derek Roth.
Yes.
Sadly, he's one of the few do-gooders in the city that I can't convince to work for me. You have right to be cautious of him, especially if you're hanging out with the likes of Gephardt Caparelli.
Do you know anything about his family being murdered? Other than what the police say, what the reporters say?
If I answer your question, will you answer one of mine about him?
Depends what it is. I am loyal, as you say, to a fault.
But this is an exchange of information that seems incredibly important to you.
Then ask me.
Do I know anything about his family? I'm going to trust you if I give you this information, that you're going to answer my question. But to earn some faith, some trust, and some loyalty, here's my answer. Yes. I do know a fair bit about his particular case. Most recently, I have acquired the understanding that there is a woman that I should be speaking with. She was the psychologist on the case. She interviewed Gephardt, and I think she got the information wrong. I don't think Gephardt killed his family.
He didn't.
I believe. Oh. Well, you volunteered out of your own free will. How do you know this particular piece? And that's not my question. I'm just curious.
There are weird happenings around the city every day. I myself can't explain them. One of your men could probably vouch for me that I'm a little bit different.
Yeah, Clarence bears your mark. But that's not my question. That's not my curiosity. How do you know that he did not do it?
I asked him, and let's just say I have reason to believe him.
You would be correct. Though the circumstances of his murder, the circumstances of his family's murder seems incredibly unconventional. While he may not have committed the act, something clearly took an interest in him and forced him into the life that he is currently experiencing.
again, personal experiences. I know this to be true, that there is something out there deciding his fate, you could say.
Or someone. It's a little blue, doesn't it?
It's odd phrasing. Oddly specific.
I think I've answered your question.
You have.
Now it's time to answer mine. Will you introduce me?
I will ask him first. But I warn you, he's not himself. He may not be as helpful as he would have been a few days ago. Which is, I would love to say partly my fault, but it is my fault.
The truth often can give us unwanted consequences, send us into the depths of despair, make us have the blues. But I guarantee you, I can lift his spirits, but only if he truly wants to whistle a different tune.
If this is something you can do, I think I could be useful in your information gathering, in your business meetings such as this.
You mistake my intent, lady. I do not wish you to be loyal to me as a business partner or as a thing. Something tells me that I should, and please excuse the antiquated term, but that I should be courting you. And to do that, I first need to earn your trust.
I'll tell you, the last person I trusted was a spirit. Before that, another. I have one person I trust pretty well. Mostly because of his inability to lie or be a bad person. But other than that, not so much. But you may try all you wish.
He kind of looks thoughtful, picks up his glass, takes a swirl and a drink, places it on the table, sort of fidgets with the glass a little bit. Thank you. Let's talk a little bit about lighter topics. Maybe we can end the evening with a dessert and some sweet words. Tell me about your family.
None to speak of.
Not even a mother? And that's where we're going to cut back to JP, Malcolm, and Gephardt. Sitting on the bench is an old man, gray, long hair, dirty, unkept, short beard, very gray, flecked with a little bit of darker color. Wearing a green suit, dirty, a vest, a tie undone, sitting on a park bench that looks almost out of time. In his hand, in his right hand, is a piece of paper, folded, held tightly And then he's left a bottle, also green, and what appears to be a sparkling green liquid inside. And he's kind of laying there, or kind of leaning back in that park bench, almost lost in a dream as he kind of mumbles a little bit, talking about kings and queens, princes and princesses, far off lands, and the little friend he won't see again.
Malcolm is still salty, but he has his sword out still, and he pushes by Mr. G and JP, and he says, "Hey, Mister," and he's slightly more rude than usual. Malcolm is. My name is Malcolm, and I'm looking for a dragon. Do you know where I can find a dragon? My map says there's a dragon on this island, and Mr. G says I can't fight him, and then I should be his friend. So I'm gonna try it.
What?
My name is Malcolm, and I'm looking for a dragon. My map says there's a dragon on this island.
Malcolm?
Yeah.
He raises the bottle and takes a swig. Ooh. It's so green.
Yeah, we're in the, like, it's grass, and you're wearing green, and the bottle's green. I'm also wearing green.
He drops the paper for just a second as it kind of floats to the ground, or kind of, fumbles and falls to the ground all folded. And he kind of reaches out. Why is she green?
What are you doing?
You don't. Takes another drink. You don't see her?
Listen, man. You know where there's a dragon?
I don't see any. Do you see a dragon? I don't see any dragon. I just see her.
You suck.
She's got wings.
Mr. G, this guy sucks, and he doesn't know where a dragon is, and he's kind of useless. Can we just go into the forest and find a dragon?
Gephardt kneels down in front of Malcolm. Maybe he doesn't remember.
How do I don't... Okay, wait. I have an idea. Okay, mister. So, like, a dragon. He's big, and he has wings, and a tail, and he goes, "Roar!" And he breathes fire. Does that ring a bell? Like a dragon. Like a full-on dragon.
I remember a roar once. It was... Where's my paper? She made me lose my paper.
Malcolm, ask him how he feels about pirates. He whispers into Malcolm's ear.
While that's happening, JP will pick up the piece of paper and hand it to the guy.
Oh, thank you. He's Malcolm, and with the bottle in hand, he just kind of points a finger, and he's just pointing. And as he points, a little bit of the liquid kind of spills out. And as it spills out, it's this emerald green sort of liquid that just kind of sparkles a little bit as it pours out, and as it lands into the ground, it just immediately kind of gets absorbed in. And he's just, who are you? Who's that talking to Malcolm?
My name's JP, and he's Mr. G. When was the last time you've eaten? You don't look too great. Can I get you something to eat?
And he takes the paper and he stuffs it in his coat pocket. And he reaches into his other coat pocket and he pulls out what looks like a Slim Jim. And he kind of...
Do you mean like a Slim Jim, or like a open your car window Slim Jim?
I mean a Slim Jim.
Okay.
Like he just...
Just wanted to clarify.
Can you do that gesture again when you asked if it was a Slim Jim or a Slim Jim?
We're talking about a shake weight here?
Yeah, seriously.
Savage. Yeah.
And he takes a bite off of it, and he stuffs it back inside of his coat pocket, just kind of, and takes another swig off of the drink, off the bottle.
What's on that piece of paper? Seems important.
And he kind of reaches in. I don't remember, but I'm very. And he drops it as he kind of looks over, sad. And the paper, folded up again, kind of falls to the ground.
Gepard will move over and pick it up this time, and he'll open it up and read it.
And as you kind of open it up, you see the scribbling drawing of a child, something a child would draw, with what looks to be fluffy sort of hair and big eyes. And it is a drawing of a little person on that piece of paper.
Hey, mister, look, Malcolm again. It's me. Look, I tried to fight pirates, and Mr. G said I couldn't fight pirates because there's a dragon here that loves to fight pirates, and he told me that I had to come here and find the dragon first before I could fight pirates. So if you don't know where a dragon is, that's okay. But just, could you say yes or no that you know where a dragon is or not, so I can go find it?
We heard there was a dragon here that needed a friend.
Mostly the pirates, but I'd also be a friend, I guess.
We used to fight pirates.
You and the dragon?
But yeah, I can't remember.
Oh, God, this guy is so old.
He turns the paper around and shows it to him. Was it him? Was he your friend who fought pirates?
And he kind of looks at the paper. And as he's leaning in, he drinks the bottle and starts to drink it. And immediately starts batting at something. Loses focus on the piece of paper.
My friend, put the bottle down. Something is trying to make you forget your friend. We are here to make you remember.
You don't see her? And he kind of...
I see her.
He starts to wave.
Let me help you there, man. And JP's gonna try to just he's gonna try to do that thing with somebody who's way too drunk and is just clinging to the bottle, where they you try to just gently take it away from them.
So this is going to be a roll of some kind.
Sure.
But ultimately, it comes down to what JP is trying to do here. Is he just trying to get the bottle away? Is he trying to change? Is he trying to do more than that? I guess is what I'm trying to say. Because it seems to me, it's very much like a convince in this situation, where he's either trying to distract or whatever. He's basically trying to get this person not to drink anymore.
Yeah.
Or
yeah, I think that's accurate.
Is he taking a risk, uncertain of the circumstance, if he successfully gets the bottle away, and willing to accept the consequences of that? Does he think that this is a normal situation, or does he think there's something more? Is really, I guess, ultimately where I think JP would depend on the role, right? Is if he thinks this is just an old man, in the bottle who's just drunk, that could be a convince. If JP thinks is being prepared for more, then I think taking a risk is appropriate.
So I think that I think JP realizes there's something a little bit more going on here than just an old man, but because of his naivety and his earnestness, he wants to treat this person as a person until proven otherwise. Like he's not going to treat them as a threat until he proves himself. He's trying to give this guy the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
So
I definitely think that's a convince then. Absolutely.
cool. So I think I am being earnest and simple.
Okay.
And I think my naive weakness tag probably comes into play.
Okay.
And the other one I think would be maybe Will of Iron. And the reasoning I have behind that is just kind of he's if this takes a little bit of time of like coaxing, like JP's being like very patient, like very, very like slow and understanding, and he's not like trying to really force the issue. He's trying to just slow and steady.
Okay. Sounds good. Roll it.
Cool. And then my other question is, do you think that my singed status from my fight with Thor inhibits my ability to convince this fellow?
No, because this is more of a social situation. Has nothing to do with the physicality of it.
Cool. That is what I thought, but I wanted to ask. Awesome. All right. I will roll it up. Convince.
Great success. Okay. Now, as with a convince, you can either change his agenda, or you can infer a status on him. And the status would be, here's the thing about the status, so I'm going to be very clear about this. It'd be for the scene, but it would be something that both Gephardt and Malcolm could use as well.
Sure. I don't know that the changing of the agenda is really relevant. I think I would inflict a status here. And I think trying to decide what to call it. Maybe like clear-headed.
Clear-headed.
Like the goal of getting this bottle away from him is to like help him like.
Okay, so a status of 1, right? So use 2 power tags, and then you had 1 weakness tag, so it's going to be basically a tier 1 status of clear-headed. So maybe it's more like sobering.
Yeah, splashed some water on his face.
So let's just say it's sobering a little bit.
Sobering
tier 1.
Cool.
And so as you're reaching for the bottle, you know, he kind of looks at you in the eyes as he captures, you know, he kind of moves in to kind of answer the threat of somebody taking the bottle. But when he looks at you, there is just such a purity and such a naivete, or, you know, a very naive kind of sincerity about the way that JP does this, that he's and he lets the bottle go. And the moment that he lets the bottle go, as it comes into your hand, the bottle turns clear, the glass turns clear, and the liquid is also clear. And he kind of looks at you. What's your name again?
I'm JP. What's your name?
It's been so long since anybody has asked me my name. I don't. And he starts patting himself.
Do you remember his name? And he holds up the picture again.
And he kind of looks. No. Jack.
Jay, you say?
Something like that. Jack.
Starts with a J, though.
Yeah.
Like my friend JP.
Well, my actual name is John Paul, and some people named John go by Jack. I mean, not me, but some people.
You look a little tall. My friend was... And he motions up, and he's just like... He's still sitting, but he motions up, and he kind of brings it down. And when he finishes, it's about 3 feet off the ground. And he kind of pats little... He's... Jackie. That's it. He was Jackie.
Your friend.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, I'm just going to smell the bottle. Like, does it smell like it's liquor?
It doesn't have any smell at all, actually.
Okay.
We are here to be your friend.
My friend is gone.
Nope.
Yes.
There are always friends.
It's not what she's... He points off in the distance. That's what she says.
She is not your friend.
Is she a dragon? What is she?
She has this shrilly voice, and she's got tiny wings. She's angry all the time.
Like a fairy?
That...
Like a tooth fairy? Did she steal your teeth?
And he starts to reach into his mouth, and he starts counting his teeth. I don't think she took any of my teeth.
Okay, then she might be a regular fairy. Mr. G. Those are on the list.
They are. I told you the map would lead us to the right place,
I
Malcolm.
know. What kind of
A
fairy
war
is it?
instead of a...
Is it a dragon fairy?
What's a dragon fairy?
I don't know, man. I'm just spitballing ideas here. Like, that'd be cool if you had, like, a dragon and a fairy, and it was just, like, a tiny dragon that would be like, boop.
And he
Like a fairy dragon.
That's what I said.
And he points to Gephardt. What's your name?
Gephardt.
You said she's lying to me and she's wrong?
Anyone that keeps you without a friend. Isn't that wrong?
That's not what... She says he's gone. Can I have the bottle back? And he tries to reach towards JP.
JP is just going to hold it out of reach.
We brought you some things. Malcolm, JP.
Yeah, JP hands over the tiara kind of awkwardly.
Oh, yeah, I got string and a tiny toy and wax. These are boring. But you can have them. I don't want them. And he holds out all the bits and bobs to him.
And he reaches out and he grabs the string. He kind of looks at it. Jackie's not here. There's no...
Is Jackie the dragon?
Why do you keep asking about dragons?
Because I got in a boat and sailed all the way over here to find a dragon to be friends with.
To be friends with.
That's what I said.
To fight pirates with.
Also that, I learned on the way here.
To roar with.
Like, okay.
And he kind of leans forward and he says, there are no more pirates.
Oh, yes, there are.
Dragons. And he's starting to wobble a little bit.
No, I almost fought pirates on the way over here, but Mr. G stopped me and he said that we had to find the dragon first, or it wouldn't be as cool. Because imagine what it would look like if I rode a dragon yelling at the pirates, and then I fought the pirates with the dragon. It'd be so much cooler than just me fighting dragons by myself.
There are no more pirates without Jack.
No, that's not true.
And he reaches out again and tries to grab the bottle from JP.
Gephardt walks over to JP and puts his hand out for the bottle.
I'll give it.
May
to
I?
him.
Gephardt throws it as far as he can.
That wasn't very nice. And he kind of puts his hand down on the bench, the armrest of the bench, and starts to get up, and he stands up and he's kind of wobbling. And it's as he stands up that you realize that the suit that he is wearing, the green suit that he is wearing, has tails, and the tails kind of float down, kind of like fold down on, kind of like haphazardly, and it's like he's been sitting on them for a while, and he's like, that wasn't very nice. And he slowly turns and starts to make his way back into the grove.
Are you leading us to the dragon now?
I don't know what you mean by dragon. And he continues to stumble through and slips into the grove of trees.
What else could you mean by dragon? It's like only one thing. Dragon, right? Right? Like, I'm not alone in this one? There's only one. If you say dragon, you mean dragon, right?
Follow him.
Okay.
Yeah, JP will head after.
Malcolm,
Yeah?
I need you to play pretend. Like
Okay.
you never have before. I need you to... Remember how you pretend you told me the story of how you and JP were detectives talking to Harold Bjorn?
Yeah, but I was a detective. That wasn't pretend. I was really a detective.
Exactly. I need you to really be someone.
Okay.
He holds up the picture. I need you to be him. Jackie.
Man,
That is pretty messed up.
I don't know that Malcolm can do that.
We don't know that he can't do that, though.
Yeah. What I mean is that I don't know that I'm going to roll to make Malcolm do that. I don't think Malcolm would understand, and I don't think his mythos would let him be anything than what he is, or anyone than what he is. So I think Malcolm would look to you and say, but I can't be a picture, and I can't be a different person. I can only be me. I mean, if that person is a detective or a pirate, maybe we could play together and be pirates and detectives. Or not pirates, but like people that hunt pirates and fight them. But I don't know what that person is. He's just a person, and I'm a person already, so I can't be a person. I'm already
Malcolm,
a person.
I can do this. You and JP must go into the grove.
Why can't you come?
I cannot be his friend.
But you can still come for the ride.
It must be the two of you.
Where are
Go
you
into the
gonna go?
grove. The old man, Malcolm.
Yeah, but where are you gonna go?
I'll be right here.
Fine.
Malcolm. He's the one that will start our war.
But he's just old and he smells funny.
He won't for much longer.
What if he does?
Trust me.
And
Fine.
with that, you hear a roar. Not unlike the roar that you heard in the mist, in the fog. You hear a roar from the center of the grove.
And at the roar, Malcolm takes off. And he'll probably run by JP and whack him. Let's go!
JP hesitates for a minute and gives a pretty concerned look towards Gephardt, but then decides he has to follow Malcolm.
When JP looks at Gephardt, Gephardt is just smiling.
Oh God. as like I catch up to Malcolm as we're like entering the grove, I'm like, Malcolm, hold up 1 second.
Yeah. We gotta go. We gotta run. We gotta find the dragon. Run and talk.
I know. I just want to say I know that you want to fight pirates and beat the bad guys, but
Yeah.
Gepart's he's not quite himself right now. I don't think war is not good. They don't really get to be good guys in war, Malcolm. You want to be the good guy, right?
Yeah, but it's a war against pirates, and pirates are the bad guys, which makes me the good guy. And if I have a dragon, then we're both good guys.
Just
Right? Because we agree that pirates are bad guys?
yeah, Malcolm. But just wars aren't good for anyone.
Yeah, but if it's a war to make the bad guys go away, and then all the bad guys go away, then all the good guys win, and the good guys are still good guys.
We can talk about it more later. Just keep it in mind, Malcolm.
JP, I know you're not a ninja, but are you a pirate?
No, I'm not a pirate. I actually, I don't do so well in water. Actually, I am not a strong swimmer.
Okay. I believe that. Let's go.
All right.
And he starts taking off again. Towards this roar. What is this? This is a forest, right? Or a glade?
This is a little grove of trees. It's a small island in the middle of this pond, and it's dense enough that you can't see the center of the grove from the outside.
Can't see the center of the grove from the outside. Okay. Shit. All right. So I think I have to roll for this somehow. I'm gonna use investigate to try to find this dragon, right? So he like suddenly comes to a stop. He's like, JP, I have an idea. You stay right here. Don't do anything crazy. I got this one. And before like JP has time to react, Malcolm squats and he leaps into the air. So I'm going to use flight to investigate. Basically, I'm going to get high and look around. Well, not that kind of high. Not this dragon's kind of high. But I'm going to jump up there and fly and try to look for this dragon. So I'm going to use flight, and I think everything's a game, and I think that's probably all I can use for this.
Okay.
And I'm going to use an investigate. Ka-chow! Mild success with a 9.
2 questions.
2 questions are, where is the dragon? I think that's a pretty solid question. That's the whole point of this thing. Or where is this guy or the dragon? I guess he doesn't. I don't know if that's 2 questions or not. And what's the layout of the island?
Funny you should ask that.
I bet it is.
So you jump up, right? And you begin to rise above the trees. And these trees are unusually tall, and they continue on as you go up. You didn't realize that they were so tall, but you continue on up. And so you get about 100 feet up. And as you kind of find your way above, you see that the tree line goes on farther than you expect. In fact, it goes on much farther than you expect. It goes on for miles. But you see the man in the green suit very quickly kind of making his way through the trees, heading back towards you. And that where he's coming from is a small sort of clearing where there are 2 distinct things that you see. One, there is a cave. And the second is that there is a fairy circle in that small clearing.
Would Malcolm know what that is?
No, but based on basically the folklore behind a fairy circle, right? It's just a grove,
just a weird circle, yeah, with stones
it's a
or
weird
flowers.
circle of flowers, right?
Okay.
So Malcolm, it would probably just look like a really strange circle of flowers.
Oh, man, everything has been so boring. Malcolm leaves. He leaves JP in the woods, and he flies right for that clearing.
JP is gonna try to hop after him.
All right. So he goes up, and he goes really high up. How are you going to do this? Is this...
How high is he going?
I break the tree line.
He breaks the tree line. Like he just goes up, and you just realize that he just keeps going up and up, and you don't really understand how high he's gone, but he's gone far enough from you that you eventually lose a little bit of sight of him.
Well, I can leap tall buildings in a single bound. So I think we see like JP like jump and like land kind of like in the swaying branches of like one of the top trees, and he like looks up at Malcolm, and when he sees Malcolm just like flying away, he's just gonna like jump from tree to tree following him.
Okay. And so you eventually see Malcolm land in the middle of this fairy circle, this fairy ring, and you land as well. You hear the rustling of brush kind of behind you, and we're going to cut to Flora. What do you share about your mother to him?
Oh, that was the last thing he asked, was what about her?
He asked about your family. Not even a mother?
No memory of one. I mean, everyone has a mother. It's ridiculous, but...
What was your childhood like?
You know, I've often thought about that. I don't have much memory. When I was studying for my current job, they asked a lot of questions about my background, obviously being, working with the city officials. I don't have much memory. It's always just been me.
I'm sorry. And he kind of sits back and he looks at you, and for the first time you see the facade that is his his mask, his well-controlled emotional face break for a second, and you see the eyes kind of soften. It must be a horrible feeling. It must be very lonely.
No, my work keeps me busy.
Work is a purpose. It gives meaning. But it is not the same as family. Nothing is more important than family.
I didn't mean any offense. I know you told me that your wife passed.
She's been gone for a long time, yes. And sadly, we did not have any children. And you see him sort of go inward for a second. So do you have no memory of them, or are they dead long before you can remember?
Could be one that led to the other. Children tend to block out and repress bad memories.
But you don't know.
No. I like to think, well, when I first started working, I liked to think that I moved here on my own and that it was another feature that made me interesting. Not that I had anyone to share it with, but I don't mind it. I like helping people pass over.
Would I be too forward if I was to offer my help and help to find your family?
I would assume that you are going to do whatever pleases you. regardless of my wishes.
As I have made it clear before, your company is important to me. I seek to spend more time with you. I described it as courting. But that does not mean that I won't respect your wishes when it comes to matters that are personal to you. So I will ask you again and respect your answer.
If you wish to look into this, you're more than welcome. If it turns out that it's something maybe I would rather not know, feel free to leave any of the details out.
I have put my cards on the table with you. I will answer any question that you ask. That always will be on the table. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to show you some loyalty and some faith. I will ask around. It is what I do. And as the dessert arrives, it is something very unconventional. But immediately it kind of strikes you as a little unusual because it smells of pomegranate.
I'm afraid I won't be partaking in dessert.
Is there something not to your liking?
I prefer my desserts liquid. And she raises her glass.
I'm sorry. And he begins to spoon into this delicacy that involves pomegranate.
If you are even going to consider trying this courting, which, again, very old-fashioned, you should probably know that things don't work out when I get close to people. I don't mean emotionally. And she raises her hand, covered in a glove. But you knew that. And she looks over at the gentleman with the burn on his arm, the scars.
I'm not afraid of your touch, Flora. If I may be so bold. As I said, the way that I think that I know you is in your embrace, in a dance.
She kind of sits back at that.
And you are not wearing gloves.
Oh, fuck. Is she really not wearing gloves?
In his vision, yes.
Oh.
No, no, I'm not changing the scene for you.
She looks down, they're going, holy fuck.
But when he says that, you get a quick flash of what he's describing. But it's different for you, right? Mm-hmm. It's in the vision, it's in the frame of the perception that you have of your vision. But it is a flash, and you are clearly not wearing gloves with him. It has been a pleasure to share this evening with you. And I hope that we can do it again sometime once I've earned your trust.
My last question. Why should I trust that if I introduce you, it's not a trick to locate him, to sell this information rather than help him?
Because I don't deal in anything as simple as money. And somebody as interesting as Gebhardt Caparelli deserves to be treated more than as a commodity. I truly wish to meet him.
She starts to stand up. Until next time. And you see her just scoop the bottle between two of her fingers, the least classy way possible, hikes up the side of her dress, and walks out.
And as you do, you notice that there are more of these gray-suited gentlemen standing around the room, becoming visible. Like they're stepping out of the shadows. And as you step outside, there are 4 standing next to a car, just kind of watching you as you step out.
Do I see the one that had the mark? If I'm looking on my way out?
No, you don't, because they're all wearing coats at this point, so you can't see the white shirt with the dark mark under it. But you can see that they're all kind of paying attention to you and just watching you as you exit from Persephone, and then I guess begin to walk home. Or do you take an Apollo?
No, she would walk. But as soon as she walks out, she would make it a point to look at them with the bottle in one between her fingers and hike her glove up, just making eye contact, and then walk home.
None of them flinch as you do that. But it's as you're beginning to make your way down the street that you notice that the same car that they were in begins to slowly follow you, keeping pace with you, always at a distance.
She's gonna text him again. It's rude to stalk your dates. Just a little FYI with an F, like her.
And his response is, I just want to make sure you get home safe. And we're going to cut back to Malcolm and JP in the center of a fairy ring.
So Malcolm just lands a light in the middle of this ring, and he starts looking around, and the moment he hears like a crunch or something from JP, he like whips around, and he's disappointed and says, oh. Okay, well, I found this. There's a cave. You want to go in the cave?
What? Did you see the man?
Yeah, he was walking back towards you. I just figured you were going to stay there and talk to him.
Malcolm. Okay, I guess we can check out the cave.
I mean, you look annoyed, but to be fair, I did say, hey, stay here, I got this one, and you said, okay, and then you didn't stay there, so you lied.
Well, I didn't expect you to just leave.
I said, I got this one, and you said, okay. So, I didn't expect you to follow.
All right, Malcolm, what would you like to do next?
Cave.
Okay.
Dragons have caves, they hide treasure there. Did you read the book, or did you just tell me you read the book? Because first you told me you were going to stay, and now you don't even know anything about dragons.
I read the book, Malcolm. Trust me, I know from dragon treasure.
Are you sure you're not a pirate?
I'm pretty sure. Like I said,
Fine.
I don't do great on boats. I mean, if that water had been any more rocky, honestly, it would not have been pretty. Do you know what being seasick is?
No.
Well, it's not fun.
I mean, I imagine it's when you're sick on the sea.
Yeah, well, it's like the boat like rocks. You know what? Forget it. Just I don't do well on boats. Let's go in the cave.
Okay, let's go in the cave. I got this, but you could come too. And then he marches off towards the cave.
Just be careful, Malcolm.
You can come too.
I'm following.
So the moment that you cross the threshold of the fairy skull and leave it, for just a second, Malcolm, you hear the twinkling again, but it's very faint in the distance.
And he looks around.
And for the first time, JP hears it. Very faintly.
Do you hear that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. Remember all those times that I looked at you and said, "Hey, did you hear that?"
Honestly, Malcolm, you say a lot of things.
Okay, well, there was the time where we fought the gray guys outside the spooky house, and I took his pants down. And then there was another time we were walking into the library, I think. And then there was another time, and he just started going through all the times that he asked you. Did you hear that?
We're just like walking into the cave.
Well, that's what I heard when I said, "Hey, did you hear that?" Now you know.
Yeah. It sounds like a bell, I think.
Uh-huh. So, now, if I ever say, "Hey, did you hear that?" there's a good chance it could be a bell that I'm hearing and that you are or are not hearing.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm following.
Okay. I don't know why I keep hearing a bell. So, anyway. Going in a cave, gonna fight a dragon. And he's walking, singing a song about fighting dragons into this cave.
You step inside the cave, and it's very dark in there at first. But you continue in, and it starts to lighten up a little bit, get lighter and lighter as you kind of step through what appears to be an incredibly small sort of like space entering this cave. Like it's the size of a man, but as you get farther and farther back, there is this green glow that's sort of emanating from the room. And the cave gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And inside, you get into the essentially the cave, the proper, and you look up and around, and you can see that there is a massive amount of green bottles, sort of sparkling, kind of lying, on little ledges and different parts of the cave, and that there is what appears to be paper and jewels and string and glue and wax and just other little things sort of dotted around, kind of scattered everywhere. And you're kind of looking at this and taking this in, and it's clear that there is a shape that is laid in the center of this room, and it's sort of a big sort of outline, kind of encompasses the room kind of in a roundabout way. And you can see that there's a claw mark, Malcolm, right in front of you as you're kind of looking down, as where something has been on the ground and kind of dug in a little bit.
I get it. This is a terrible dragon, and the old guy is his servant and brings him trash.
Malcolm, I think the old guy is the dragon.
No, that's dumb. The old guy was an old guy. Did you see him? He was old and a guy. Like Mr. G isn't a dragon. He's just an old guy also.
Well, do you remember your friend Calvin's girlfriend who wasn't a monster with wings, and then she was?
Yes.
So maybe this guy isn't a dragon, and then he will be.
Are you telling me that dragons can turn into people?
Well, didn't you read the book, Malcolm?
No, you had it. You were supposed to read it.
I'm gonna walk over to the one of the bottles, and if I pick it up, does it do the same thing where it just like becomes clear? Okay, and then I just set it back. Does it stay clear? No, it goes.
The moment that it touches back down on the cave, it like illuminates again. It just begins to kind of, change and sparkle and filled with green liquid.
That's unusual.
What happens if you think? What do you think happens if we break them?
Well, I can't imagine your dragon friend is going to be very happy if we bust up his house.
Okay.
Oh no!
Okay.
JP will go and look at the imprint. So you said there's like an area where it looks like something was laying, and then there's like the claw mark.
Mm-hmm. You gonna investigate it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I have maybe any power tags that apply here.
JP is not a very good investigator. He tries really hard, though.
He does try really hard. Yeah, no. I am just gonna roll with 0.
This is going to be beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Wow.
You don't find anything interesting or significant in this cave. The hard move that I'm going to play against you is I'm going to hold on to it until later. Okay? Just because it'll make more sense when I do. So you're kind of looking around, and you're looking at the claw marks, and you're looking at the outline, and you're looking at the rubble, the refuse, and the paper and everything else around. You don't really see. There's nothing that stands out to you. You can't glean any information. Nothing that you read from the Dragon Book. Nothing that you read here. And it leaves you feeling frustrated. Malcolm, is there anything you want to do in this particular situation?
Yes. What's the room lit by?
The green bottles around the room.
Remember that time Malcolm was bored? So while JP is off investigating the dragon claw marks, and there's clearly not a dragon here, yeah, Malcolm's not great at making new friends. He just kind of takes new friends, and then they kind of do what he says. So he gets bored with whatever we're trying to do of making this person a friend, and he wants the dragon to come back so they can talk and do dragon things. So while JP is investigating, Malcolm waits until his back is turned, and he kind of kneels down in like the center-ish of the cave. And I guess the roll would be like hit it with all you got. I'm not sure. But essentially what Malcolm is going to do is he waits till JP turns, and he puts his hand down, and he kind of squats down on in the center of the cave, and I'm going to make all the shadows smash all the bottles. What do you want for that?
Well, you're saying hit him with all you got. I'm wondering if it's a much simpler, like, take a risk.
It could be take a risk, yeah. That's why I was asking. I wasn't sure.
Well, I mean, it's one of a couple things, right? It could be change the game. It could be take a risk. It could be hit him with all you got. It really ultimately depends on the move's results.
Yeah.
And it seems like in this particular case, take a risk seems like the simplest.
Okay. Take a risk makes sense.
Okay.
So I'm going to use... wow. I'm going to use Imagine Things to Life, Shadow Manipulation, Everything's a Game, and I will ask to use this weakness tag, but I'm not sure how it's going to work. More sensitive to areas of thick mist.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
That one is going to be on there as well. And I'm going to roll take a risk with 3. 1, 2, 3, 2. Yeah, so 2. So maybe that's why JP doesn't find anything, right? So you kind of go over and start like looking at like the claw mark or whatever, and you like Malcolm sits down, or he's like squats down, puts his hand down like superhero pose, puts his hand down on the cave, glances back to you to see make sure you're doing whatever you're doing, and then all of the shadows around the bottles being cast by the bottles sort of lurch up off of the cave and just collide with the bottles, smashing all of them, which throws us into darkness because they were the source of light. And then Malcolm jumps up, and you can hear like a scuffle on the ground. He goes, "It worked!"
Malcolm, what did you do? Why?
Well, you see, the dragon guy was leaving the cave, and he walked towards you, and then you were like, "I gotta go find Malcolm," and then you just started jumping through trees, and then I don't know where the dragon guy went because I'm here now. And when Mr. G when you took the bottle, he didn't seem to like it, and then when Mr. G smashed the bottle, he reacted and he got kind of upset. So I figure if I smash all the bottles, maybe he'll get upset and come back here, and then we could talk to him or fight.
Malcolm, you don't make friends by making people upset and breaking their stuff.
Oh,
Sometimes you just gotta listen to me. Just trust me sometimes, Malcolm.
well, I didn't ask you.
But I asked you not to break the bottles.
Well, no, I said what would happen if I broke them, and you said he probably wouldn't like it. And then I didn't ask you if I could break them. I just broke them. That's the trick. If you don't ask for permission to do stuff, no one can tell you no. And you hear him cross his arms.
Malcolm, if somebody says that somebody wouldn't like something,
Uh-huh.
doing that is not a good way to make friends with them.
Oh.
I mean, how would you feel if this guy came into the place where you and your friends are and they broke all your stuff?
Well, I would fight him and break all his stuff.
Don't you see how that's makes making friends a little harder?
I guess so.
Right. So when he comes back,
Mm-hmm.
are you going to apologize?
Are you telling me that I should apologize?
I'm not telling you. I just think you should apologize. What do you think? If you were in his position, would you like an apology, Malcolm?
I would like to fight him.
And sometimes, if you apologize to somebody who's angry,
Uh-huh.
they don't want to fight anymore.
But that's not fun.
But then you'll have more friends, Malcolm, and then you'll have maybe a dragon friend.
Okay, I'll apologize. Mr. G wants me to make friends with him. Fine.
And then you hear a roar.
Yes!
And we're gonna cut to Gephardt on the beach as you slowly see the old man stumbling his way back to the bench as he sits down, new bottle in hand.
That's not going to help you.
Help? I don't. And he takes a drink.
Does that take you on adventures?
No more adventures.
Who told you that? There are plenty of adventures. I'm on one.
Not without. What was his name?
His name was JP.
Convince him.
Sure, crit. What? He just did that? Drops the mic.
JP. Huh. Why does that name sound so familiar?
Because JP, he's your friend. He has grown up a bit. But he has a friend, Malcolm. And I am their friend too. And we are all going on an adventure against pirates. Do you remember pirates?
Yeah, pirates. JP liked to fight pirates.
They were scared of you and JP, weren't they?
Visited the kings and queens. They liked us.
Yes, but the pirates, ooh, they lowered their sails when they saw you.
Yeah. And at that, the bottle begins to diminish a little bit. The glow begins to slowly fade away.
It's time, my friend.
But
Time to go back.
where are we going? And his slurriness begins to remove, kind of diminish from his voice. What adventure? What adventure?
The biggest one of them all.
And you see the gray begin to recede from his face, his hair.
Gepard steps forward.
Adventure. JP likes adventure. And his
Loves
voice
adventure.
begins to drop a little bit. Loves adventure. And you see the age, the old skin, the wrinkles begin to kind of bleed away from him a little bit. And his voice goes really deep and he says, adventure. Where is my friend JP? We have adventures to go on.
Many adventures.
And at that's when you feel the first sting. As you are being surrounded now by a swirling light, you're going to face danger.
Little bitch.
This thing is just kind of swirling around you very fast, and you're starting to feel little stings, right? And it's getting faster, and the pain is coming more and more. And the blue in your eye is beginning to flare up. So face danger and tell me what happens here.
Okay, so he is going to use something he hasn't used yet to keep himself, his physical body safe, as he uses resurrection of the organic. He uses blue fairy, and I think that's all he's going to use right now. Oh no, he's going to use, and that's something different. Yeah, so face
Are you
danger.
sure? Are you sure? Because you seem you're not sure about that particular point.
There's something else I want to use with Puff, but I can't. No, I can't do that right now. So, yeah. So, I don't think I have any weaknesses that'll play into this. No,
I don't see any weaknesses that'll play into this. But go if you want. You can invoke probably distant and aloof is probably the only one that I would say, even remotely, if you wanted to.
No, I'm just going to use 2, and it's face danger, right?
Face danger.
Ciao, little bitch.
And she's swirling around you. This blur, right? And the light is yellow, but you can see flecks of green as it's kind of coming around you. How do you face danger in this situation, though? As she's doing these little attempts, these little attacks.
What he is going to do is because he always carries wood with him, he is going to produce a block of wood that he just pulls out into a cage. And as she's spinning around, he puts it right in front of her path. So she crashes into it. And he's going to close the door.
Okay, that's something else entirely. That's a change.
Right, that's going to be another roll. That's going to be another roll. I understand.
Okay,
that.
that's so. All right, so go ahead and roll a change the game.
Okay, now with this one, he's going to use create from wood everywhere, bring creations to life, and that's it. 3.
Okay, you're going to fail that though, because the GM crit is going to come into play.
You have to. It's not crit fail. Crit the other way.
Oh, I'm sorry. What are you trying to say there, buddy?
I'm not saying anything other than.
All right, I'll let the table decide. Is that okay? How I use it?
Well, you don't roll in.
Yeah,
this game,
it's a rollless GM game.
so I don't know how else you would use it.
Yeah,
Exactly. I mean, it's the same way that we would have played it in Blades, right? So any kind of situation, I would just say that you're going to fail. So you do this, right? And as you're creating this cage, tell me a little bit more about this cage. Is it is it very much the classic sort of like Tweety Bird sort of like wood, cage, but like made out of wood?
Yeah, it's definitely the Tweety Bird kind. Just, simple, one, cylindrical.
Okay. As she's kind of spinning around, she's unable to gain the advantage on you as she's just kind of spinning, and she comes at you. She comes right through. She's speeding, kind of through. She goes into the cage and immediately bursts out the other side as the cage begins to light a flame, and it starts to burn, in your hands.
Little bitch. At this point, he's going to turn to Puff and say, "Some people do not like adventures. Some people want to make you forget. That is one of those people."
And you see him kind of look, and he begins to kind of move. But when he moves, he's starting to have like a sort of a rocking, sort of slinking motion. And you can see that his form is changing yet again as the green suit begins to kind of shift. And you can see wings slowly beginning to kind of form on his back. And you hear a magnificent roar as he moves into attack. And we're going to cut back to JP and Malcolm.
Yeah, I mean, Malcolm's waiting
heard
for
the roar.
Malcolm's waiting for a dragon to show up. He assumes the dragon's roaring because he broke all of his stuff and he's coming this way.
JP is gonna head towards the roar, making sure to keep himself between the sound and Malcolm.
So as you head to the entrance of the cave, the roar is definitely coming from a distance in the direction of all right, that's just unfair. Let's be completely honest right now. That is just unfair.
It's for both of you.
Saying it. This is going to get ridiculous. Anyways, so you hear the roar coming from towards the beach, the direction that you came from, and just for a second, somehow through the distance, you see a flash of green, and hear a whoosh after the roar.
Malcolm, I think we may need to go help Mr. G.
What is he doing?
I don't know, but you hear the dragon.
Do you think he's fighting the dragon?
Let's hope not. But come on, we gotta hurry.
Okay. And Malcolm takes off, and Malcolm actively flies through the forest.
Yeah, I'll follow. I'll try to keep up by my leaping and jumping.
The fact that Mr. G may or may not be fighting a dragon is the most exciting thing that's happened on the island. So he's weaving in and out of trees, flying to Mr. G.
Okay, so we're going to cut back to Gephardt as he's watching this dragon sort of evolve from this old man that's just turned young, and the dragon jumps up, right, and leaps and begins to soar and chase this sort of yellowish green light as it begins to spin around and arcs up and around as the dragon kind of follows it and is heading for Gephardt. Thing is coming full bore at you, Gephardt. What are you going to do?
Gephardt gets back into the grove of trees and puts his hands on two of them as the final march of the ants, as these fucking trees start coming up into turning into life, as I am fuck this bitch. I'm done with this.
Change the game.
That's the last.
Unless you're going to crit it
right now.
I'm not going to crit it yet, my friend.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
It's an ent moot.
Wow.
The fact that you just pulled that right out of your ass right now, that's funny.
Wow.
Jesus.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. And I'm going to give you the 1 for fire, since apparently now she can burn shit. So I'll take it down to 3.
Okay, so fire is very specific. This is not the same fairy that you think it is.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Okay.
So you know.
So do you want me to take the fire off, or do you want me to leave?
Fire's not in play right now because you're not. You had the cage and you dropped it, right? It's not in play. So if there was fire in the scene more than just that little smoldering piece of the cage, then yeah, I would say that's something to be concerned about.
Okay, and this is toe to toe. You said, right?
It's change the game if you're bringing the ints into it. Unless you want to do toe to toe, then you can do that too.
9.
Well, mild success with 4 power. So that means you can do the first of 3 things, right? Which is inflict a status, create or summon a new object, or remove a status, tier status, I believe. Because the listing there is wrong for it. Hold on, let me double check.
That's okay. I already know what I want to do. I want to inflict
right, what are you
status.
doing? What are you doing?
Tier 1, grounded.
Describe to me how you do that. I need a narrative explanation of that.
He grabs a hold of the 2 trees and their branches move out. And while it's not the full animation that he has time to kind of create, it's enough for one of the limbs to kind of fan out into almost a catcher's mitt size of wood. And it just smashes the blinding light into the sand.
Okay.
Yeah, he wants to bury her into the sand, and then he's going to point up at Puff and say, "There lies the enemy," and he steps back into the woods.
Okay. So as you step back into the woods, as the dragon begins to kind of move in, is following and kind of coming in, you see that the dragon's mouth begins to open, and this huge roar comes. And along with the roar, come a plume of fire. You're going to have to face danger, buddy. Now, granted, remember this. This is important. Even before you're talking about the crit, you have 3 juice left to spend from your change the game. Because you've only spent 1, which is create the story tag to capture her. So please remember that in the context of the scene. So what do you want to do?
Okay, so with the 4 juice or with the 3 juice, what am I allowed to do? Can I add something? I can use 3 juice to add to my roll, correct? If I want to.
I don't. So you can add a status, which will give you. Well,
can I make a suggestion?
What was the roll?
It was a change of the game. You can't spend juice 1-to-1 for that.
What I would suggest you do is hold them, face danger, and if you fail, you can use the juice to reduce the status.
Reduce the effect, right? Yeah.
That's the way that it's the proper way to do it. Yeah.
Right. Can I apply a status to Puff?
Sure can.
Okay. How about pinpoint accuracy?
We'll call that a story tag.
Right.
But you're still going to have to face danger.
Okay. Is it?
And it's going to be a plus in your favor. It's going to be a +1 in your favor, plus whatever other tower tags you're gonna apply here.
Okay, so he is going to use to get away here. Can I use wood everywhere so I can just bring the stuff in to make a shield over him? Create from wood everywhere. Bring creations to life. Story tag. Yeah, that's it. So that'll be 4.
Okay.
Now, do you want me to use the fire here?
Fire is invoked because fire is in the scene. Absolutely.
Okay, and then that is.
Make sure you mark attention to that because you're the one who brought it in the conversation.
Okay, so that's face danger. You said, right? Yes.
Yes.
Face danger. Wink. Ooh. Miles
okay.
Success.
So you would take burned,
but I'll take the juice to take it off.
Right. So so originally it would be burned 3. Reduce it by 1 would be scorched 2. So do you want to spend 2 juice and completely take that away?
Yes, I wanted to make it Nothing.
Okay, so as you know, as you're kind of creating the shield, right? It comes up, right, and the flame just kind of comes down as the dragon just kind of swoops, right, and then you hear the flapping of the wings as it roars, as it's going back up, and the trees just sort of, you know, the branches and everything just kind of come in and shield you and almost encompass you, almost like a Groot from you know, Guardians of the Galaxy, as it does, right? And the fire just consumes all of the shield, right? And all you're getting is little like flecks of ember kind of floating down on you, but otherwise you are completely unharmed. But you can see that the fairy is still trapped in front of you, in your little encased, you know, creation. As you can see, you can hear the dragon is you know, kind of flapping and moving around, kind of moving back in. And at that moment, Malcolm and JP kind of step up.
Can I have a free action to yell something?
What is this, D&D?
I'm asking you.
Yell away.
He
Spotlight's
takes
on you, buddy.
He takes a piece of the shield and he turns it into a funnel, almost like a megaphone, and he yells to JP and Malcolm, "Here there be dragons."
But does it look like the dragon is
Yeah.
attacking?
Yeah,
the
Greg,
Gepard?
sorry, Johnny, I need you
Looks
to
like the
describe the
dragon
scene
is-
to what we're running into.
The dragon is rounding about, you know, is making a round, kind of flapping its wings and soaring.
It's a friend.
And roaring. That's not what you said. And kind of moving back in towards and heading down, you know, kind of swooping in, and it looks like it's angling towards attacking Gephardt.
So JP is gonna try to dash and jump to get in front of, between this dragon and Gephardt, and while he's doing it, he's shouting, "Gephardt, what happened to making friends?"
We are making friends. It is friends. It's attacking something else.
It's not obvious that there's anything else for it to attack other than Gephardt. You can only take him on his word. How does JP react in that situation?
I'm trying to get between Gephardt and this dragon and to defend him. So if the dragon doesn't do anything, there's nothing to defend him from. But I don't know what Malcolm's doing.
Malcolm doesn't notice. He hears "Here there be dragons," and it looks like Mr. G is under attack by a dragon. And Malcolm was moving too quickly to hear anything. And as soon as he sees that the dragon is flying above, he just arcs and flies directly up and out of the forest. Yeah, I'm going to be that guy this time. So I'm going to roll for hit it with all you got, Greg. Oh, Greg, sorry, Johnny. Jesus Christ. It's been one of those days. So, Johnny, I'm going to roll for hit it with all you got. But I'm going to use 2 weakness tags. Is that a thing you can do?
Why wouldn't you?
Okay, cool. So because Mr. G is under attack, and despite he is boring right now, he's still Mr. G. So I'm going to use stress and negative emotions, as well as more sensitive to areas of thick mist.
Okay. And what power tags are going for you?
Flight. Shadow manipulation. We kill pirates, and everything is a game. And I'm gonna crit it.
So you take the 2 attention for the 2 weaknesses that you invoked, and you crit it.
Yeah.
So when Malcolm sees this thing kind of coming back down for the attack, heading towards Mr. G. JP is running towards it in the middle. Malcolm, you're flying towards this thing and you're going to hit him with all you got.
Yeah.
Explain to me how you're doing this.
So basically what happens is once JP says that it seems like Mr. G might be fighting a dragon, he takes off at breakneck speeds, right? And he's flying in and out of the trees. And the moment that he breaks contact and sees that there is fire around the trees, and he hears Mr. G's cheeky remark that "here there be dragons," and it looks like combat has begun, he immediately just arcs and banks directly up to fight this dragon. And out comes the sword. And as he like breaks the tree, I assume he's in the trees. He's above the trees, right? Yeah. Excuse me. As he like breaks the tree line, he is just engaging in full like Dragon Ball Z-esque combat with this dragon, like flying back and forth until he like gets in there, and he'll grab the dragon like around its midsection, and then Shadow will just like kind of wreathe around and wrap his wings, and they both plummet down towards the ground. So yeah, I'm gonna.
You crit it.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure what the hell moves to do. So on a 10, you choose 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hit him with all you got. Yeah, this is going to be collateral damage. That's going to leave that happen. Yeah, I'm just going to give him a tier, whatever the hell. So let's see. It would be
4.
No,
Or 2.
it'd be 2. Yeah, because I used 4 things and 2 negative ones, so it'd be a 2.
Yep.
So I'm going to use Get Them Good, I think, just twice. Right? That's the thing I can do, right?
No, you have to spend them 1 for 1, I think.
Okay, so then I will do a Get Them Good, and I'm going to gain the upper hand and take 1 juice.
Actually, maybe you can. It says choose 2.
You can choose 2. You can choose any. You can choose 2, and you can repeat them if you really want to.
Yeah, no, I'll do.
I don't think that there's a rule, and I don't think there's anything in the book that says you can't choose the same option twice.
Yeah, I'll try.
That I've read.
I'll do it once. So they get hit with a tier 3 status, and I'll take 1 juice. The status is clipped wings.
So, as Shadow just kind of wraps around, and the both of you plummet, as you're landing, your shadows automatically kind of twist, and you're on top as the dragon falls and lands on its wings, and you hear this terrible sound of cracking, as it just, you hear this cracking and crumbling. And Gephardt, as you're kind of looking at this, you see that the wings just sort of shatter, on the back as the bone and the cartilage and everything just kind of flattens as the dragon falls. And as Shadow kind of dissipates, you see the dragon is on its belly, and on top of it, is Malcolm just kind of laying there with it. Malcolm, it's prone for a second. JP, it's prone for a second. Gephardt, it's prone for a second as it's reeling in pain, and screaming. What do you guys want to do?
Actually, you know what, Johnny? I'm going to switch that to not take a juice. Instead, I'm going to gain superior position. So when it lands and like it unfurls and the shadow kind of dissipates, like I assume when we make it through the trees, right? You kind of lose the shadows, and it like splats on the ground, and the wings unfurl, and you see Malcolm in the middle. Well, that was unintentional. You see Malcolm laying there, and he stands up on the belly of the dragon and raises the sword and says, "I did it!" Looking triumphant. Thinking he did the right thing.
And that you have position on the dragon.
Yeah, so he thinks he did the right thing. So he looks proudly over to his friends and says, "I did it!"
I'm looking for Gephardt's reaction.
Gephardt goes over and crits on the grounded fairy to kill it.
Shit.
Describe to me what you actually do when you're trying to kill this thing.
You ever see Bright?
He takes a ball of. He takes a.
Does he take a broom and just start swinging at it as it's near his?
It's a branch from the tree, from the end boot.
No. He takes a just reaches over and scoops out a piece of wood, walks over, picks up the thing, slams it in the wood, keeps it all around up to its neck, takes a big rock, sticks it to the bottom of the wood, and throws it in the fucking water.
Ploosh.
Little bitch.
And you hear a roar. You hear another roar, but this time it's in pain. And Malcolm, under you, the dragon is starting to shrink. It's starting to sort of grow smaller. And at a certain point, you're not standing over a dragon anymore. You're in your I did it pose, but you're standing over the old man. And clearly his arms are laying, just sort of flop on his side.
I don't think he realizes that, having never been injured. I don't think he really gets it. He kind of looks over to JP and he goes, "Oh, you were right. The old guy was a dragon the whole time."
I don't think he was trying to hurt Gephardt, Malcolm.
Well, he was breathing fire, and there was fire all around Mr. G, and he was flying like he wanted to attack him. Who else is here? Hey, why are you trying to hurt my friend? And he kind of yells down at the old man.
And where is my friend JP?
JP's right there.
JP will walk over and he'll be like, Malcolm, get off of him.
Oh,
And
okay.
he's gonna kneel down and try to help this guy as best he can, but he has no medical knowledge and this guy's arms are broken, so I don't know that I could do much.
Probably not anything. But
Flora can help him. It is a rough and tumble start to the adventure, but it is a venture nonetheless.
Was this guy even attacking you, Gephardt? Why didn't you?
No, there was not at all.
You couldn't have opened with that?
You both need to learn how to assess a situation before you just do the shit you do. But
Both of us?
I'm a child.
Both of us need to do that? Really?
you're his keeper. I have put you in charge. His actions are your actions. We've talked about this. JP, here's your friend. He shows the old man and he helps him up. You'll get your wings fixed.
no, my arms. And his arms just kind of flop to the side. Malcolm, for the first time, you're just like, what the hell is going on here? You see this, and JP, this is clearly something that you've seen before in fights. Not only his arms, his forearms are broken, his arms are completely shattered up to his shoulders. He's in an incredible amount of pain.
Malcolm.
Yeah.
I need you to do something. You don't hurt your friends, do you? You don't break their arms.
No, that's why I fought the dragon, because he was breathing fire on Mr. G.
Well,
Obviously.
the dragon is our friend, Malcolm, so you couldn't have broken his arms, right? You could not have broken your friend's arms. I think JP's probably getting more into this than he should be with Malcolm. He's like grabs his shoulders and is kind of shaking him a little bit.
Man. Yeah, I think Malcolm kind of gets what you're trying to do. And he looks over, I assume we're all kind of close together, and he looks over at the old man, and kind of underneath JP's shaking arms, he points at him and says, "Hey, mister, you're a dragon and I beat you in combat. That means that you're my dragon, right?"
What yours? What do you?
That's what happens when you beat a dragon. They become like your dragon. And now we get to go on dragon adventures.
Malcolm.
I'm not a. My arms are broken. I'm not a dragon. Where's my drink?
I broke all of them.
Where did she go?
Malcolm.
Ooh. Yes.
You can't hurt your friends, Malcolm.
I know. I didn't hurt you or Mr. G.
Well,
I protected you both from a dragon.
if you want this dragon to be... You can't just take things or people. It's not how it works.
Says who?
Says the world, Malcolm. This isn't right. Look at this. Look what you did to your friend.
Well, friends don't breathe fire on friends, do they?
I'm fine, Malcolm.
Because I saved you from
Let's
a
go
dragon.
see Flora. He goes over and
Fine.
helps the old man as best he can without touching his arms. We will need that boat again. And we will get you all fixed up.
As a loud bang cracks through the air, and there is a big splotch of blood on the old man as a hole kind of appears. And as you kind of all look around, you see that there is a boat pulled up to the shore, a rowboat. 2 individuals in the boat, one stepping onto the shore, holding a black powder pistol. I've been trying to kill that dragon for a long time. And as you take in the scene, you see that he's a pirate. And you see the boat behind the rowboat. And it is a gigantic galleon. And it flies the pirate's flag. As the black powder pistol gets put away, and a sword gets pulled, a cutlass. Now the captain will want to be seeing the 3 of you. And that's where we're going to end it.
I want to fuck up some pirates.
Guys, I was the good one this episode. I behaved myself.
I'm
I
sorry.
tried so hard.
I'm sorry, I killed that
Wow.
dragon.
Oh man, that was good.
Oh man, that was a fun one.
Bullshit, I get roofied and you guys get to go on an adventure with dragons.
To be fair,
Nobody was roofie.
wait,
God.
wait, to be fair, last episode we said, hey, we're going on an adventure with dragons. You were like, I have to go to dinner. I'll see you guys later, and left.
Work.
You're like, I have to go on a
at
date
least
with my
my-
boyfriend.
At least my dad's chaperone didn't awkwardly crash the dinner.
Yeah, he was too busy awkwardly helping me crash a dragon party.
The 2, Malcolm and Gephardt, finally made JP realize that the 2 of them are fucking insane, and he should get far, far away from them.
Flora tried to tell you. Last
Yeah.
episode.
They're so much worse when they're together.
I'm not saying that there weren't ample warnings for JP about this. I'm just saying it's finally dawning on him that's like, holy shit, what am I doing here?
Yep.
Good.
All right, let's go around, do our introductions, and let's announce our winner for our game. So let's go around to Miss Ginger Ninja. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what did you think about tonight's episode?
I'm Xmas Ginger Ninja. You can find me over on my channel. Tonight was definitely interesting. I thought I would have a lot more questions than I did. Probably a few wasted opportunities there. But, you know, at least someone else recognizes that Mr. G needs help. Like a professional. Shrink kind.
Does he? Does he though?
He needs something.
Well, clearly he's been without a wife for a year, but I mean, and he plays with his wood all the time.
JP.
So
It's true. It's true.
Speaking
Speaking
one
of,
moment at a time.
oh god. Speaking of JP, let's go over to Sam. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what did you think about tonight's episode?
I am Sam, twitch.tv/WizenFool, Twitter @TheWizenFool. I do stuff all over the internet, so follow me on Twitter because I'm always tweeting out when I'm on different shows and stuff. Man, this game just keeps getting better and better every week. Every week, it's like, man, things are just going more and more crazy, and I like how our team has finally figured out what everyone else has been doing, where we play out sequences of like 30 minutes over 3 hours. So hopefully the others can catch up to us now.
That's true. We are super far in the future. And the let's see, the arbiter of tonight's chaos, Greg. Who are you? Where can we find you? And what did you think of tonight's episode?
Greg Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitters. I had a blast. I always love playing this game. You guys are great to play with. I'm going to leave you with this. I hope that fucking pirate ship is made out of plastic, because otherwise they're in deep deep shit.
That's good. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Last but definitely not least, Johnny, I think we put you through the ringer today. I think today was the capstone for Team Lazarus right now. So who are you? Where can we find you? And what did you think of tonight's episode?
Johnny, Video Store Cowboy, GM for this crazy thing that we call 6&Twenty. Video Store Cowboy everywhere except for Twitter, where it's Vid Store Cowboy because of the stupid character limit. What did I think of tonight? I thought that last week was crazier than this week because last week I was saddled with Puff the Magic Dragon, and this week I was just like, all right, I get to implement Puff the Magic Dragon. That wasn't so hard as being saddled with, hey, Puff the Magic Dragon. I'm like, anyways, it was a good show. Good times. Love playing with you guys. I'm very curious to see what Gephardt's going to try to do because the writing was on the wall in the first or second episode when you saw the ship the first time there, Gephardt. When you thought you saw the ship there the first time. So I'm looking forward to see what you can do with your wood next week. Before I forget, along with tomorrow night over on Not So Speed Runs, following Team Esper, we're going to be doing the rescheduled Team Doozies next Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern next Monday. So I'll be tweeting about that as well. Oh my God, Greg, stop that, please. It's getting really crazy there, buddy. That's where you'll find the doozies next week. So they'll be doubling up on Monday and Tuesday. So, and that's it.
Cool. So for us guys, we are partnered up with Son of Oak to give away the book here tonight. For those of you that entered and did not win, if you type !missed in the chat, you can go over to that link and use the code 6&20fan to get $5 off a copy of the book and PDF. That is the only way to get the book and PDF as a combo. It's the only place to do so, and the only way to get that $5 off. And for our one lucky winner, it's the first time I've done a giveaway and I actually know who the hell this person is, which is dope. Kiana won tonight's game, tonight's giveaway. So congratulations to Kiana. I'm going to post on Twitter about that good stuff and let her know. Guys, go congratulate her. And if you are joining us tonight, and this is your first time in here, check us out on YouTube. There's a massive playlist about all these games, and you can catch up on all of the previous episodes. It is a blast to play this game with you guys. Thank you guys for all the chat hype. Thank you guys for all the subs, the donations. All that shit was crazy. Join us in the Discord. And with that, I believe we're going to go over and raid our good buddy McLokin, who is currently also playing 6&20. That's not true. He's playing City of Mist. So you guys can go get over your City of Mist fix over on McLokin's channel. He's playing with some rad people. Eat My Diction, Sydney from Encounter Roleplay. So definitely go check him out and those guys out as well. And I think from all of us to you guys, bye-bye.